early.
Mm-hmm.
Oh.
I can see the time.
You can see it?
For the most part, I gotta squint my eyes, but I can see it.
Did you already write down a time?
No, yeah.
So we
He
just
was
started.
just checking.
I didn't. I was just saying.
He's
See
like,
if I
well,
can see
you're
the time, damn it.
testing.
He was texting and he's like looking at his look. You're not writing it like it says.
No, I was
10
just making sure I had it set up for the creator profile. So all I got to do is put the time in.
He was testing to make sure he could see it.
Right.
Yeah. I got to squint my eyes, but I can see it.
Eric forgot his glasses, so he's
Eric
blind.
forgot his glasses.
Got in a rush.
Yeah.
A little early.
Why. I guess because I don't know. Out of our realm today. We're doing
it's
it
a
early
little off.
today. It's only 12 o'clock here, so. We
Not
are
really,
the Bonsai Movie Crew.
Hello.
That we are.
Hi.
Yes,
Yes.
don't forget to
Easy.
check out our
Yeah.
social stuff.
In front
TikTok.
of C3PO.
I always forget what all they are. I just need a list of them.
Instagram,
It's,
TikTok.
pretty much everything.
Yeah.
TikTok, Instagram, YouTube,
X.
Spotify.
X, Spotify, Apple.
Did you say
Podcast.
Facebook already?
Just about
Facebook.
anything that the podcast will be on. Just
Right.
Look this
Just
up.
all that stuff. Just
Besides
Google us. Just Google us.
Rumble?
I'm going to just put up Google from now on. Google.
Google us.
Yeah, just find us there. Anyway, let's get into our creator profile. So
You
the
want me to
movie
read
we
it?
did this week wasn't like there's nobody really in the movie.
Neil
that anybody-
Marshall.
You talking about
Yeah.
the director?
Yeah.
I thought about
Dang
it.
it.
I thought about it, and I was like, because the only movies he really has done is The Descent, Dog Soldiers, and what was the other one that I saw that he did that was popular? Doomsday. He did Doomsday, which is a personal favorite of Matt's. And I was like, yeah, we could do him. I was like, but really, what has he done lately?
I don't know. He's just the most prolific person that I knew in the movie.
Right,
He was the
yeah.
director.
Which Dog Soldiers is one of my favorite werewolf movies. Movie's fucking awesome. The name is dumb, but no. I did because of Christmas, and it seems like he's the Christmas guy or has been since we were kids. Is Tim Allen?
Oh, okay.
I figured
Takes me off guard.
Me too. Well, Crystal's like, I was like, I don't know. She's like, why don't you just do Tim Allen? He's the Santa Claus. I was like, okay. Works for me because I can't think of any other time when we might do.
I've never seen any of the Santa Claus movies.
What is wrong with you? You got to at least see the first one.
If I'm being honest, I'm not a huge Christmas movie person.
Yeah,
I only
but
have
the Santa
certain
Claus
ones
is
that I
The
watch.
good.
Santa Claus.
Yeah, the Santa Claus is really good.
Okay, I'll watch them sometime.
You watch
should
Home
watch
Alone,
that
don't
one.
you?
At least that one. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I think if you watch, you'd be like some of the graphics don't hold up because it's an older movie, but
Well,
like
I mean, that's
the movie
to be said
itself
about
is
pretty
really
much
good.
anyone. That's
What's that dude's name that was in Beverly Hills Cop? He's kind of the
stepdad?
derpy
Judge Reinhold.
Yeah, Judge. That's his name. He's in it too as the stepdad,
Oh, okay.
and so it's quality entertainment, especially for the kids. For the family.
I know what it's about.
We started watching it yesterday, and the boys they had done open up presents and everything, and they hightail it upstairs. I'm like, what I mean? Because I asked Jackson, like, have you ever seen this? He's like, no. Can I go get on my computer? I'm like, what the fuck, man? Like
we weren't even 20 minutes into the movie.
no,
but-
not even. No, we weren't even 10 minutes into the movie. He was like done with it because it's like, well, he got his new computer, so he's like,
That's this generation, man. They don't.
Well, usually he's down for watching stuff like that with us, but presents
Well,
were open. It was
yeah, I was gonna say, you
all
can't-
the ass kissing was done.
Well,
Yeah,
it's not
you
even
know,
just
I'm
that.
gonna let
Like,
you guys
if they've
go back.
got new stuff, don't
Yeah.
even bother.
It was like they were done. They were like, all right, ass kissing's done. I'm out. So
Got my shit. I'm leaving. Bye.
I'm like,
That's what it was, too.
yeah, like peace. Like you motherfuckers, you used me. You feel like I told her. That's what I told Crystal. I was laying on the floor with my dog. I'm like laying down. I was like, at least you'll cuddle me, buddy. And she's like, I was like, I looked at Crystal. I was like, I feel like a cheap whore. They just used us.
Especially like when you put together toys and shit like for Penny.
I didn't put anything together.
Oh, man.
I set up his computer. That's about it.
Dude,
Like, I
Penny
put that-
cracked me up when I went over to get him today. I come I come in the house. She walks right up to me, walks straight up to me, but comes up for a hug, but doesn't put her arms out. She just I'm like, well, hello.
How long was she awake?
Oh, I
Oh,
don't
she's
know.
been awake hours now.
All right, so we're gonna do Tim Allen this week. Man, everybody's favorite conservative dad.
I agree with you there. Tool Time. I did watch that.
I love
Home
Tool Time.
Improvement.
Well, it was Home Improvement, but yeah,
It was Tool Time.
It was Tool Time to everybody else.
They might have called it Home Improvement, but we know what it was really called.
I'll read
No, it
this.
was really
I'll read this, Madison. Then you can read the movie.
Oh,
Okay.
she's up. She's excited.
She's up to bat, man. All right, Tim Allen.
Come on,
Tim.
Dick. Sorry.
Mi scusi.
Tim Allen overcame his imprisonment for drug dealing as a young man to become a popular stand-up comedian. He found sitcom success with Home Improvement in 1991, fueling a Hollywood career that made him a future player in the Santa Claus and Toy Story franchises. I guess, yeah, there's Toy Story too. So,
Yep.
Alan later, huh? He was Buzz Lightyear.
Yeah.
Oh,
He was Buzz.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Alan later returned to the small screen for another
He was
legacy
Mrs.
sitcom.
Nesbit. Get it right.
for another legacy sitcom run with Last Man Standing, which is also a very good show. Early years and family tragedy. Tim Allen Dick. Okay, so apparently his last name is Dick. That's a weird last name.
Yeah.
Like, it makes sense as a middle name, but
Or even a first name, but Tim Allen Dick. I thought Allen was his last name.
That's
it
probably
too.
why
Well, that's
he
probably why he
doesn't
got rid of it.
use-
he was like,
All right. Tim Allen Dick was born on June 13th, 1953 in Denver, Colorado, one of
Being
6
a
children
dick.
of Gerald and Martha Dick. Allen discovered his penchant for comedy early on as his last name became fodder for childhood jeers.
what? Imagine marrying someone with the last name Dick.
We have to change that. You're gonna take my last name.
Right.
No.
Like,
no.
imagine having a name that, like, falls victim to that, though.
Mhm.
Like, I don't know, like...
Yeah, but that probably breeds the right. Like a lot of
I mean,
kids that have gotten
like-
bullied
I
as
mean,
kids, they come up
As
to
a
be.
guy, though, when you get married, you might be like, no, we ain't changing my last name. You're taking the dick both ways.
But a lot of kids that got
imagine
bullied.
being like, if he marries somebody from like another country, sometimes the names are a little, like imagine if her name was like, come get you. Like that could be a name from another country. Come get your dick.
That'd be funnier than shit.
But a lot of kids who get bullied as kids either grow up to be really good like comedians. Like they always they grow up to, you know what I mean?
Yeah, because they
Or
got to put
end
their
up in
pain out
prison.
there.
They're great at acting.
Yeah.
I mean, they put on a show for everybody that,
Unless they're crybabies.
Yeah, it goes
Eh.
one of two ways. They either end up in jail or in acting.
Uh-huh.
It's true. Yeah, trauma, man, does some weird shit. All right. He often used his wit to deflect insults. In his formative years, Allen had an especially strong connection with his father, who instilled a love of all things automotive in his son. That says a lot. I love my father more than anything, Allen remembered. He was a tall, strong, funny, really engaging guy. I so enjoyed the company, his smell, sensibility, discipline, and sense of humor. All the fun stuff we did together. I couldn't wait for him to come home. In 1964, on his way home from a football game, Gerald was killed by a drunk driver. Makes sense. Allen was 11 years old. In the wake of the tragedy, Allen's mother moved the family to Detroit, Michigan. Several years later, she married her high school sweetheart, a successful businessman with strong... Okay, I'm going to get this word. Episcopalian values.
Episcopalian?
Episcopalian, yeah.
Yeah, that's the word.
Karen, we love you.
Episcopalian. Yeah, that's the word. That's a
Episcopalian
religion,
values.
I thought you were at first saying like what his occupation was.
No,
I was
well, there's.
and then when you said values, I was like, oh no, it's a religion.
The pair raised Alan and his siblings. Troubled teen. As a teenager, Alan was an indifferent student with a passion for shop class. After receiving his high school diploma, he attended Central Michigan University.
Explains home improvement.
Everything about like his childhood says like he just brought everything with that. Like from that
into home
his,
improvement.
Well, not even home improvement. Also, like
Just
into all of his shows,
into all of his shows and acting and everything.
Yeah. He's just playing like his dad in his childhood.
Right.
Yeah,
which is fine. I mean,
for sure.
He's
Well,
funny at it. So
that's a lot of like what the genius is when you play what you know.
Mm-hmm.
I mean,
especially if you can make fun of it or make it funny. You know what I mean? Like, I think that makes a lot of sense for a lot of different comedians.
Mm-hmm.
After receiving his high school diploma, he attended Central Michigan University. He later transferred to Western Michigan University to earn a bachelor's degree in television and radio production, which is fucking weird because you'd think that for a guy who was like, I love shop, I love cars, you think he would have like, done something along those lines instead of like, I'm going to go in for TV and radio. Like, what? Like, you like cars and like building shit. You want to be on TV?
Maybe it was his dream to make home improvement. Like, what if that was his dream show?
Maybe. It'll probably tell us here in a second. It
could have been maybe he saw certain things about, I don't know, value systems or something.
Maybe, yeah. It was there that he met his long-term girlfriend, Laura Dibble, whatever, and began making money on the side as a narcotics dealer.
Oh, that was
as one does.
As one does. That magical snow stuff. Arrest and prison stint. Following his college graduation in 1976, Alan took a position at a sporting goods store where... That's Last Man Standing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I've only seen bits and pieces.
Oh, it's a really good show.
No, I've seen clips and I've seen, I think, 2 or 3 episodes maybe all the way through. They're funny. Yeah, they're funny.
It's a funny show.
That's one where he's like sitting there cleaning his musket and eating bacon or something like that.
Yeah.
He's like, I'm just doing what my forefathers fought for.
Yeah. She's giving him shit because, the grandkid could get the musket or whatever. And he's like, I'm sure he's going to, get the gunpowder and,
there was also a scene where like his daughter got her first his youngest daughter got her first boyfriend. And his youngest daughter is actually played by that girl from, damn it! What's that horror movie we just watched that didn't have any talking in it?
The alien one.
Yeah,
that's what I was going to say. The
nobody will help you or nobody will save you.
No one will save you.
Yeah, so that was that girl. That was her. That played his youngest daughter.
Okay,
and that's where I first saw her. And I think she's a great actress because she was also in another mini series where she played a rape victim. And she played it so fucking well. Like she did a really good job in that show.
A lot of heart.
It really put her on my radar. And then I watched, and then she did a comedy movie, where like they're getting ready to go to college, and her and her friend are like they want to go to this party, but dude, she's fucking hilarious in the movie too.
So she doesn't just stick to one genre.
No, that's why I like her because
she's
versatile. I was like, okay, so she can play serious and she can be funny.
Yeah. I will say the best part of No One Will Save You was her.
For sure. She did a great job.
Yeah, she was really good.
And I think she's one of them actresses that you really, really need to look out for because I think she's
versatile.
I
like that. I hate it when they stick with one genre and one type.
I hate it whenever good actresses and actors like that don't get enough work. You know what I mean?
I agree.
That like they're good, so you think that more directors and things like that would take more notice of them. So
I mean, I get it when certain actors stick with a certain genre for so long, but I like when they branch out because it seems like they stick with it long enough to get a name. And then they go, okay, now I need to branch. Like I want to do different things now that
that's
me.
That's Dave Bautista. That's what he did.
He's another one.
Robin Williams did the same thing. Yeah. He got a name, and then he started doing serious stuff. And Tom Hanks, he did the same thing. Jim Carrey, he did some serious stuff. I mean, a lot of actors. I like that when they they might
branch
make a name.
Out there normally.
Yeah, they might make a name for themselves, but they don't stick with just the genre that made them famous.
And that's one thing that even Dave Bautista said. He said, I want to I don't want to be known as Drax.
Mm-hmm.
I want to branch out and do other things.
Mhm.
And he's done serious roles.
Yeah.
And he's actually a good serious actor. I remember.
Yeah, I've seen him in other stuff.
I remember the beginning. He was in the opening scene of Blade Runner 2042.
2049.
2049. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sorry,
Yeah.
I knew I was wrong about that.
I know. I can see you were like, wait, that doesn't sound
That's
right.
not the right number. But he was in the opening scene of that, and he really surprised people with that opening
Mhm.
scene because of his,
he
his
was the
acting
best in
talent.
that M. Night Shyamalan movie. What was that?
Oh, yeah.
Knock at the Cabin. Yeah,
Yeah.
that was
Yeah,
really good.
He did a really good
Best
job
one
there.
in that.
He was
Mhm.
the best in that movie.
Like I said, like sometimes people they need to take more notice of people like that girl. You know what I
Mm-hmm.
mean? So anyway, back to it. Arrested in prison stint. Following his college graduation in
you ever
1976,
see his
Alan took a
mugshot?
huh?
You ever see his
Yeah, I
mugshot?
have his mustache. And everything.
He's all like
Yeah.
smiles and shit.
Yeah, he's probably fucking baked.
Probably.
Alan took a position at a sporting goods store where he was quickly offered a job at the company's in-house advertising agency. Just like Last Man Standing. Despite his accomplishments in the ad business and his happy marriage to DeBelle, whatever, in 1978, Alan continued to deal drugs. His criminal activity caught up with him on October 2nd, 1978, when Allen and an accomplice were arrested at Kalamazoo, Michigan airport for possession of nearly 1.5 pounds of cocaine. Ooh. Whew. It's a lot. He was released on bail, and a trial was rescheduled for November of that year.
I'm trying to stuff that up something.
In that time before his sentencing, Allen tried his hand at stand-up comedy. He made a successful debut at Detroit's Comedy Castle, and a month later, on November 26, 1979, Allen made his court appearance. The comic received a reduced sentence after agreeing to testify against his partner and was given 8 years in federal prison. He ultimately served only 28 months at Sandstone Federal Correctional Institution. The time in prison seemed to whet his sense of humor. Wait.
Is it WH?
HET.
It's wet.
Wet?
Yeah.
That's weird. I've never heard of that.
It's just a way of saying like it made it better.
Okay.
It's just
It
comedy.
gave him
it's the opposite
of comedy
material
grew.
for
Right.
his
He's
comedy.
Yeah, his
So
comedy
it's the
grew
opposite of
inside
putting
this.
a damper on it.
Yeah, it gave him more material to use for his comedy.
I gotcha. Okay. It's just a weird. I've never
Kind of like you ever heard it whet his appetite,
wet his palate.
wet his palate. Yeah, that kind of. It's
Okay.
yeah.
All right. I'll never use that word in any context. So, where the fuck is I now?
At wet.
Wet. Yeah, I'm just looking for that word. Really. God damn it! Where are you? Parents, blah blah blah.
WHET.
At the time, prison seemed to whet his sense of humor, and Allen became known for his ability to wrench laughs from the toughest guards and prisoners alike. Stand-up success. I think he's doing stand-up again.
Is he?
Like, yeah.
I've always found him funny.
Yeah, I think he's
guy.
funny. I don't know. I haven't really seen too much of his stand-up, though. After his parole in 1981, Allen returned to Detroit, working at an ad agency. By day, he became a regular at the Comedy Castle in the evenings. It was there that he started honing his hyper-masculine persona. He also discovered his trademark call, 3-ape-like staccato grunts. Sure.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Oh. That's what it is.
Yeah, that's what it is.
Yeah. I remember doing that as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
He also discovered his trademark. Oh, yeah, I just said that. As his stand-up career gained momentum, he successfully ventured into the world of commercial acting, including appearances in several ads for Mr. Goodwrench. Amid the burgeoning acting career, burgeoning. God damn, why are there so many stupid words in this? Allen became a father. His daughter, Catherine, was born in 1989. By 1990, Allen's Men Are Pigs routine, which focused on the male love for hardware, was made into a Showtime television special. The segment caught the attention of Disney Studios chairman Jeffrey Katzenberg and Walt Disney CEO Michael Eisner, who offered Allen lead roles in upcoming small-screen adaptations of Turner and Hooch and the Dead Poets Society. Allen turned down the roles and tenaciously fought for his material.
Imagine him being Turner and Hooch instead of Tom Hanks.
No, these were small screen.
Small.
So they
were
would have been
smaller
like
roles.
TV sitcoms based on, or Turner and Hooch, but it would have been a sitcom.
Oh, that's what it was. Yeah.
Yeah. They would have made like.
He's probably like.
Yeah, he wanted his own material.
Yeah, I don't want to
He wanted to
piggyback
make
off of another person's material.
Yeah, he didn't want to. Yeah, piggyback. He wanted his own material to be center stage.
Home Improvement star Allen eventually persuaded the studio to use his routine as the basis for his new sitcom Home Improvement. The show was to feature the comedian Tim Taylor, family man and star of a program called Two Time. Shortly before the show's 1991 debut, Allen made headlines when he revealed that he had served time in prison. His controversial admittance did not manage to affect the popularity of Home Improvement, which made the Nielsen top 10 list during its first season. By 1992, Allen had earned his first People's Choice Award for Favorite Male Television Performer. Can you imagine that, man? Like, there's not a lot of people in Hollywood that could say they've done like real jail time, especially before they got big. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Like, especially like drug charges.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he did his time. He did 2 years in prison and still managed to get out and make a fucking massive acting and comedy
Like, you
career.
think
It's
everyone
like
would be
what
turning
Robbie
him
Downey.
away.
Yeah, you
Downey
think.
Jr.
What's that?
Robert Downey Jr.
Yeah, but that
That
was
was-
during his.
Yeah, that was. He
acting.
was already famous.
He was already famous, though.
and then went down a bad path.
Yeah, and he
after
wasn't
he was
dealing
famous.
drugs. He was just doing drugs.
Yeah.
So it's just weird because, like, especially for him to come out and admit that he had done prison time and things like that, and then for people to still be like, well, it's whatever,
Yeah, like
really
he could have
like him
lost
still.
everything.
Yeah, easily, but he took that chance just to be honest, and they were still like, no, we still love you.
Yeah.
Back then. Nowadays, on the other
You
hand.
did prison time? Okay.
Yeah.
So
Back then is probably wasn't that bad, but nowadays, I think you'd get fucking canceled. So.
well, yeah. Everybody gets canceled for the littlest
Yeah.
things nowadays.
So earned his People's Choice Award for favorite male television performer, a distinction he held for 8 consecutive years. By the time the 1993 season made it to the air, Allen had an Emmy nomination under his belt, and Home Improvement was a steadfast ratings darling. I agree. I watched the fuck out of it as a kid. Santa Claus and Toy Story. The year 1984 was an important one for Allen. In the same week, Allen had the #1 book, Don't Stand Too Close to a Naked Man.
What?
What a fucking name for a book.
No shit. Must be a shower reference to his prison time.
Might be. I bet it is.
Makes jokes
I bet
to
it
the
actually
kiddos.
is, yeah. That's funny as fuck. The #1 television show and #1 box office hit, The Santa Claus, cementing his place in the celebrity firmament. Over the next few years, his accomplishments seemed to snowball. Get snowball because of cocaine. Allen was highly praised for his voice performance as Buzz Lightyear, alongside
Nesbitt.
Tom Hanks,
Mrs. Nesbitt.
Sheriff
That's like my
Woody
favorite part in the first
in
one.
Pixar's smash success Toy Story in 1995.
I need to watch that movie again. It's been a while.
And the same year, he was honored with a Golden Globe Award for his work on Home Improvement. In 1996, he earned even more commercial success with the book I'm Not Here. Allen faced another bump in the road in 1997 when he was brought up on drunk driving charges. The arrest led to a stint in rehab the following year and Allen's subsequent commitment to sobriety. Yeah, you'd think, especially after his dad was killed by a fucking drunk driver.
Yeah.
Um,
People are weird.
but he continued to face success in 1998 when Home Improvement had another successful run. Its star earning an estimated $1.25 million per episode. By 1999, however, the show had run its course and the cast bid a tearful farewell. Galaxy Quest, Wild Hogs, and sequels. Although saddened by the loss of his regular sitcom gig, Alan was working nonstop. In 1999, he reprised his role of Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 2 and earned the distinctive title of Disney legend. He also starred in that year's sci-fi comedy Galaxy Quest, which became a cult hit, but while his career soared, his personal life suffered. Laura filed for divorce later that year. Galaxy Quest was pretty good. It's pretty funny. Alan remained a frequent presence on the big screen and even reclaimed some romantic harmony in 2006, shortly before the debut of his third addition to the Santa Claus franchise. He wed long-term girlfriend Jane Haddock.
He's got a lot of long-term girlfriends.
Yeah, sure.
No?
Yeah.
The following year, Allen starred alongside John Travolta, Ray Liotta, Martin Lawrence, and William H. Macy in Wild Hogs, which wasn't a good movie. After appearing in the Dave...
It had its moments, but it was overall it wasn't.
It was kind of cheesy. It was really cheesy.
Yeah.
Cracked me up with Dr. Cox playing the gay cop.
Okay. After appearing in the David Mamet helmed Red Belt in 2008 and in the Six Wives of Henry LaFay the following year, I've never even heard of these movies. Allen made his return, his feature film directing debut with the comedy Crazy on the Outside in 2010. That year, he also returned to a familiar voice role in Toy Story 3.
Mm-hmm.
Allen's film participation diminished by the second decade of the 21st century, though he suffered in smaller features like Three Geezers. I've never even heard of that either.
Yeah.
And El Camino Christmas in 2017. In 2019, he was back for one final run as Buzz Lightyear in Toy Story 4. I guarantee it won't be the last time. I'm sure they're going to make more.
Yeah, I think they were talking about making a fifth one.
Last Man Standing. Beginning in 2011, Allen rediscovered his sitcom success on ABC with Last Man Standing. Drawing from elements of Allen's early career, the show features the funny man as Mike Baxter, director of marketing for an outdoor sporting goods store chain based in Colorado. Despite its strong ratings, ABC announced in May 2017 that it would not renew the sitcom for the seventh season. Fox later swooped in and revived The Last Man Standing for the fall of 2018 season. That's it. And the reason why they canceled that shit is because they didn't like what he had to say. It was too conservative, because there was one thing where he went on a rant about can't remember what it was.
Cancel culture canceled that shit.
It was something about cancel culture. It was him and his middle daughter in his office talking about cancel culture and this and that, and people got fucking butthurt about it. And so they canceled the fucking show, and that's why Fox picked it up, because Fox is a mostly conservative network. So there you go. But in my opinion, it's a great show.
Synopsis. I mean, he didn't hold it back.
Right.
You don't like,
I
like
think
something, don't watch it.
Yeah, I think that in this case, I think that Tim Allen, he's a conservative actor, but obviously Disney's still giving him work, and he still does that Santa Claus. He does the show on Disney now. Hold on. Okay.
Is that show doing good?
But if they could go back in time and recast, they would.
You think so? I bet they might. I don't know.
Knowing what they know now, they wouldn't have had Tim Allen do it.
Maybe. Yeah, probably. But but they have 2 seasons of it. They just released a second season of that Santa Claus show.
It's just because it's too late. They can't cast somebody else to do it.
I think
And
that
they know
it's
that.
it's just a money grab. I mean, either way, it doesn't matter. Like, conservative or not, I always liked his point of views as a father. And
I'm not
as,
disagreeing. I'm
not
disagreeing with that at all. I'm
Yeah.
just saying that, Disney.
especially in Last Man Standing, like, he really puts his opinions out there.
If Disney could recast it, they would. That's all
they
I'm saying.
probably would.
Yeah.
Anyway, favorite we'll go show and movies for this because he doesn't have a lot.
Home Improvement, because that's the only one I watched consistently in Galaxy Quest.
I was going to say
down.
between Galaxy Quest and Home Improvement. Shit. I'm going to have to go with Home Improvement. It's the main thing I've always really been into with it.
Man, I really like Home Improvement. I like that show, but I'm going to go with Last Man Standing. I really like that show.
I didn't watch it consistently.
And-
I haven't gotten the chance to really sit down and watch it yet.
I really like that show. He does great in that show, and I think that the actresses and everything in that show are great. But also, like, that's sitcom-wise, but, like, movie-wise, I'm going to say, like, probably Galaxy Quest.
Yeah.
That's just a funny-ass movie.
I love that movie.
And you get to see, like, Sigourney Weaver's cleavage, which is nice. She's pretty hot in that movie.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah.
For some reason. Don't ask me why. I don't know why.
She keeps repeating the computer and
Yeah.
you have to do that. And she's like, it's my one job.
Yeah. It's a really good movie, and it's
I love
a
that
stat
movie.
cast.
Yeah, I love
Very
that movie.
stat cast.
Yeah, me and Karen were
If I
talking.
grab Thar's hammer, I will avenge you.
Yeah, me and Karen were talking about, Severus Snape. It's I can't
Alan
remember.
Richardson.
Yeah, Alan
Yeah.
Richardson.
Rickman.
Alan
yeah.
Rickman's it. He doesn't never really enjoyed doing sci-fi movies, but he wanted to do Galaxy Quest.
Yeah, he said he really enjoyed doing that movie. So,
Yeah.
I like
And
Toy
Hitchhiker's
Story.
Guide.
Yeah,
Toy
and
Story.
Hitchhiker's
Yeah.
Guide.
makes sense. Yeah, you haven't seen a lot of Tim Allen stuff.
I've seen Home Improvement and Last Man Standing. I just really like Toy Story.
I liked him in the Santa Claus though too. He's really good, especially the first one. Like they kind of like the second one ain't bad, but like after that it's just like, all right, this is fucking retarded. Like the third one was dumb as fuck.
Wasn't it about the Jack Frost man?
Yeah, it was dumb.
Yeah.
It's like I don't understand like these cancel culture aspects on canceling actors and stuff just because their political views. I mean,
Because they offend people,
Well,
they get
Would that be
it's
just like me or you
Yeah, dude.
hiring or firing somebody
blowing your
because
ass
of
up
their
over
political views?
That's my cameras.
it. Oh,
I mean, if they did the same thing with like labor, factory works and like that, there'd be nobody working.
yeah.
I mean, I don't understand.
I
that
don't
thought
get it
process. If
because
they do a good job of what
Hollywood
they
and
do,
everybody has a certain agenda that need to make people think a certain way, and it's
like
just
you said, if they do a
ridiculous.
good
I'm
job of
over
what
it.
they're doing, leave them be. I mean,
Right.
now
well, this
they-
is why you
they
don't get the
fuck up.
quality movies that you used to get back in the day. Though.
Well, back in
Yeah.
the day, people had that very live and let live attitude. Now everybody's got to be up in everybody's business.
I mean,
It's
if
the
somebody was
internet,
like a
dude, it ruined
raper-
it for everybody.
If somebody was a raper or a murderer or something like that, then fuck them, cancel them, get them the fuck out of
Yeah,
here.
right?
But just because of their political views, grow up.
Yeah, it is what it is, man. There ain't nothing we can fucking do about it unless they're listening to our podcast. I doubt it though. Anyway, let's move on. Let's see here. What's everybody been watching?
What the hell have you been watching?
What's everybody watch this week? Let's start with Eric.
Okay, so let me get into this.
Let him try and read first.
I got it. Have you guys watched that Brotherhood of the Wolf?
What?
It's a
Brotherhood?
French movie,
Nah.
but it's in English.
Nah.
I would not recommend it. It's a very long, like Renaissance movie. Like they have to go try and hunt down this beast. It's supposed to be like a
I think
werewolf,
I've
but it's like
heard of it.
but it's like a lion with like armor and shit all over it.
I think I've heard of it.
It's very long, and I couldn't really get into it. So I tried watching that movie. Then I watched
Keep
Expendables
playing.
4.
Hmm?
Watched Expendables 4.
I heard that was bad.
It was definitely not as good as the other ones.
I guess they thought just by making it R and like throwing in all this violence.
Sylvester Stallone's only in it for a certain amount of time.
That's what I heard. He was it was supposed to be like his way of like handing the reins off to
Yeah, it's
Jason
kind
Statham and that,
of what it was about.
which makes no fucking sense to me. Just it's done. Be done.
Yeah. I mean, they're kind of burying it in the ground. Like the beginning of the Expendables was basically for like a charitable organization. You know, that's
Well, then
kinda
it was
how-
also to like put all your favorite 80s action heroes in one movie and
make
you
it
knew what you
over
were
the
getting
top.
into. It was,
Yeah.
it was a fun.
We all knew it was going to be an
there was
over
not
the top
it's not supposed to be
action
plot
movie.
heavy or anything like so.
It was just supposed to be
done.
fun and enjoyable.
Which I think Sylvester Stallone's getting pretty close to being done in general with everything.
Yeah, I think he's at that. That's kind of probably why he wasn't in Expendables 4 very
Well,
much.
I think that, and he also they asked him if he would ever come back to do another Rambo, and he's like, I can't see myself doing it. He's like, reboot it, do a prequel, whatever you want to do. He goes, I don't really.
Yeah, I mean, imagine how much it takes out of him to do
He's
that
old,
stuff.
man.
Yeah,
I didn't like the last Rambo anyway. Like it was okay, but like the ending was just like, why? Why isn't he dead? You know, like just like he should go out. You
That'd
know,
be like
the
making another
ending of the
Home Alone
movie-
with Macaulay Culkin at his age, and
Yeah.
saying like, "Oh, we left Kevin home alone." He's like 40.
Well, I mean,
I mean, like, okay,
I
you know
thought
what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's so actiony about
he's like
having
40.
an
I think he'll be
80-year-old
okay.
play
wasn't the
Rambo?
ending?
You know,
right?
Wasn't the ending of the last one where he's like walking back to his home house?
No, that was Rambo 4. Yeah, 4.
Why didn't they just end it with that? You know, he just.
I
made
thought
it
that
home
was
and
great
left,
too, and
yeah,
then they
just
did
leave it
Rambo
be.
5, and I'm like, why?
Oh yeah, because they did it where they came back to his farmhouse.
Yeah, they came to his farm or whatever and attacked him there.
Yeah, they should have
I
just
don't know what
stopped.
Rambo
It was
right?
like the Mexican cartel or some
Yeah.
shit.
I've seen the first one.
Don't get me
Oh,
wrong.
they're-
Like the
they're
first
good.
one, the second one are good. The third one was kind
I
of
like
dumb.
the first one.
The first one was amazing, and then Rambo 4 was really good. It was good. Like it was violent. It was fun.
I've read what the other ones are about, and I think I'm just gonna stop at the first one because I really, really like the first one.
I think
and
you
I
liked
think
the
that-
fourth one.
I think that like what the second one was
Yeah,
about.
the
and
fourth
all that,
one
it's
was like
kinda
it came back. Oh, you know,
It took him
Around.
back home.
And-
Yeah, the fifth one was just kind of garbage.
that's how they should end it. Just he got home, he was done.
yeah.
Then I watched Trolls 3 for probably the 100th time each day because of my daughter.
Oh, she likes it a lot.
Oh, it's on repeat.
Oh
That's
boy,
great.
I'm
Oh,
sorry.
So yeah. Then I watched, just because the hell of it, I watched X-Men Apocalypse.
I'm sorry.
Yeah.
You just all about watching some shitty movies, dude.
Hey, some were. I mean, no, I can't say there were any of these.
No,
were
none
good.
of them were
No.
good. All your movies sucked ass.
That troll, I
then-
like that Trolls movie. Come on, man.
Yeah,
It's
maybe
it's
once.
okay for like the first once or twice you've watched it through, but when it's like on repeat, you're like
Yeah,
you're drooling from the mouth because your brain is just melting at that point.
I used to watch the first Trolls movie all the time, so I can't say nothing.
Well, I mean,
I
yeah,
remember my niece Mia used to be obsessed with like Finding Nemo. Every day, all the time, Finding Nemo. I'm like, oh my god! And this is,
I
this has
hated
been
that
20
movie
some
when I
years
was a
ago, and I'm just like, dude, we can't, do we have to?
I
See,
mean,
my
it's at
mom
the
used
point
to
where I'm watching
complain
things on my
because I watched
phone while she's
Ghostbusters on
watching
repeat.
that.
At least that one was cool.
I liked Finding Nemo, but she like beat it into the ground. Like
I
Yeah,
didn't like that movie when I was a kid. I didn't like
she
watching
loved it. She was obsessed with that fucking movie.
and then
I
I
liked
watched.
Finding. Sorry.
Oh no, you're fine. Then I watched Home Alone 2. That was
Oh well,
Right.
there's one good one.
at least one.
You have to
I
watch
ended off
that.
with a good note.
Jesus.
That's why I said I ended with a good note.
All right. Well, Karen, what'd you watch?
But yeah, if you see that Brotherhood of the Wolf, I mean, it's
I probably won't watch it. I'll be honest.
you start watching, and you're like, okay, this is gonna be kind of interesting. You're just sitting there, and it just gets a lot boring because there's just so much fucking talking. So, yeah.
He's like,
So
I was
much-
not impressed.
They talk too damn much.
They talk too fucking much.
It's based on like the Revolutionary Renaissance kind of time, not Renaissance,
Yeah.
but Revolutionary time.
We continued watching Family Guy. We watched Beverly Hills Cop 3, Silent Night, The Meg 1 and 2. I finally got around to that.
What'd you think of the second one?
I like the first one better.
Really? I thought the over the top shit at the end of the second one was great.
It didn't fit. It felt like
I know, that's why I
felt
liked it.
no. It felt like 3 different movies going on at once.
Yeah.
Like you'd forget. Like I would forget that I was watching a movie about a shark because they would go to this other part because they weren't happening on
Meg
the
2.
same screen. You know what I mean? Like if it was happening together, that would have been fun. But instead, you've got the shark stuff happening over here, and then Jurassic Park over here. And you'd forget about each of them happening. So, like, this guy's fighting the fucking Jurassic Park over here, and then he'd go back to the shark, and you're like, oh, yeah, we are watching a shark movie. And I didn't care
told
for it.
you about the dinosaurs, and it just made.
I didn't care for it. And the other thing that really, really bothered me, this bothered me probably more than the several movies happening at once. He already had established friends from the first one, the Indian guy especially, right?
Yeah.
But no, they tried to shoehorn his best friend being the new Asian guy, which was his girlfriend's brother from the first one, which we never met before. But all of a sudden, they're best friends.
Oh, yeah.
Like, why do you have to shoehorn a new friendship into this second one where they're like...
I think you're overthinking the movie too much.
It just bugged me. Like, he's already got a great friend.
Yeah.
Just make him his best friend. Just throw the Asian guy can be the Indian guy role here. Like, just why do you got to shoehorn a friendship in there that doesn't matter?
I didn't even think about it. I didn't care, honestly.
It bothered the shit out of me.
I was down for seeing some Megs and some like dinosaur things.
It seemed so fake.
And then an octopus or whatever.
It just seemed fake.
It
seemed shoehorned and fake.
Yeah.
To me, it was like, why is that relationship?
It is a Jason Statham movie.
It just seemed stupid and fake.
Sharks.
It just seemed fake. It seemed stupid.
Gigantic sharks.
On top of everything else, it was like, why? Just why? I guess. Bugged the shit out of me. Bugged me more than all of the other stuff, because I would expect the other stuff, but at least in the first one, the relationship just seemed genuine. The relationships between the humans were genuine, and it was nice. Like, the way that they interacted was cool. Like, I liked that. And then in the second one, it was like the only genuine relationship you had was him and the little girl. And just like...
Yeah, she definitely overthought it.
I hated it.
I was just there for a good, like, action romp.
I hated it.
For me.
I told you. Told you wouldn't like it.
Yeah, I didn't like it. Then I watched The Foot Fist Way, which is, what's his name from, Danny McBride. It was a Danny McBride movie.
Oh, yeah.
I didn't care for it.
I think I've heard of it, and I don't really care to see it, so, yeah.
I thought it was going to be good. It wasn't. A movie called December. It was a bunch of different movies in it, and it was alright. Some of them were okay, but most of them weren't. I wouldn't recommend it. Home Alone 2, that was Jack's pick, and then Scrooged and A Christmas Story, because I always have to watch those. That's it.
Okay. What did you think of Silent Night, by the way? No? Okay. Madison?
Okay, so I watched Fellowship of the Rings again, I'm not gonna lie. And then we...
Not gonna lie.
And then we watched Home Alone, the first one. I watched it with the boys on my computer, and then I watched The Hobbit while I built the Fast and Furious Lego thing. And then I watched Frosty the Snowman, like the 25-minute one. We watched that with the boys. And then we watched Alvin and the Chipmunk with the boys. Chipmunks, the first one, because that's technically a Christmas movie, the first half of it. And then we watched Elf.
Okay.
I watched that with Ada, because Ada wanted to watch it.
Didn't get around to Elf. Meant to. Never got around to it.
I watched a bunch. I actually watched some shit this week, too. I actually had to write it all down so I can remember.
That's what I just had to do.
Smart. I had to write it down. Alright, here. Let's see here. We watched The Santa Claus last night. Which, huh?
I said that too.
Yeah, you watched it with us. I watched Silent Night, which you're right, I didn't really...
It was boring.
It was kind of boring. It was boring for a lot of the movie.
Yeah, I think you told me not to watch it.
I
didn't tell you not to. I just said it.
I wouldn't
like everybody kept
recommend
saying
not watching
it was John Wick for Christmas. It wasn't.
It wasn't, though. It really wasn't. Like,
it was just this really, really sad...
It was very sad, especially at the beginning. And then, like, they tried to, like, take some artistic...
Here's where I really got confused. Okay, I don't know, maybe I'm crazy?
There was no talking in this entire movie.
Yeah, very little to none. But, like, if you're in that same situation as him and his wife, okay, and he's in the hospital for that fucking long and almost died.
Right.
would you not go home and take down all of that shit and put it away so that he doesn't have to relive the worst fucking day of his life when he fucking comes home?
She didn't do anything to the house or anything.
No, and then she gets upset with him.
Well, and then another thing that really bothered me was like, so she wouldn't go out of her way. Like, he's not deaf. You can talk to him.
Yeah.
She doesn't talk to him, though. She just texts him. He'll be in the next room and she texts him.
Yeah.
And I'm like,
he can text back,
him?
Sure, but like, why can't you just talk to him?
Yeah.
But she gets
a pad and paper.
But she gets upset with him because he comes home and he's upset. Bitch, you didn't take down any of the fucking decorations and make it like easy for him to come home. It was
a really weird thing.
I didn't care for it overall.
Overall, like, whenever the action finally kicked in, even that was kind of like bumbling a little bit. You know what I mean? Like, it wasn't like good.
The only thing I will say I liked about it was a little bit of that bumbling, just because it showed
it's realistic.
Yes, it's realistic. It was a normal guy who just said, "Fuck this, I'm gonna take care of business." That I liked to an extent. I don't think that they did it right, but I get that it's supposed to be realistic. Yeah. But overall, no, didn't care for it.
Yeah, I think, and Joel Kinnaman or whatever his name is, he's a great actor, man. Yes. He does great. He's a good actor.
He was the best part of it.
Well, the sad part is like he gets stuck in a lot of these shitty roles where he just gets the shaft, man.
Yeah.
And I felt bad for him because I'm like, dude, this dude is a quality actor. And for a John Woo movie, like I was expecting a lot more.
No
like,
shit.
Even like some of
he's usually really good with action.
Some of the stuff that like was going on in the movie, I'm thinking like, I feel like this could have been filmed so much better, you know? And
yeah. I kept thinking that like when they go back, because they're always going to go back and show you what happened. I kept thinking when they went back and showed what happened, it would explain the wife's actions, like why she didn't take anything down, or like why, you know what I mean? And like when they went back, I'm like, no, I still don't get it. Why did she make him relive all of that? Like, why did he have to come home and see all of that?
I feel like this was kind of a slap together script and things like that. But like,
because fuck him, that's why.
I know Kid Cudi's character, like they made him
in particular.
They made him almost seem useless.
Yeah, no shit.
Like the cop, he was almost useless.
Yeah,
and I feel bad because like I love Kid Cudi.
Like he showed up just long enough to get shot.
Yeah, I mean, he killed the one girl or whatever, and that's about it.
Mm-hmm.
Like. That's about it.
Yeah, it was not a good movie.
Just, I wasn't. It's not one.
It was like it started to be a good movie, and then they would go, "No, we're not going to make it a good movie," and they would veer off, and then they would start.
It took like 45 minutes to an hour for anything to actually happen. It shows like the depression and like his like mental state, and then like his training stuff and all this and that. I'm like, you guys are really dragging this out.
Yeah. And then it was like when you would think it would start to go in the right direction, they'd veer off again. And then they'd start in the right direction, they'd veer off.
Yeah, it seemed like, oh, this is where the action's going to start. No, not yet.
Yeah. You think, oh, they're going to finally get it.
It's not a
It's like they were in a boardroom and like the person would be like, okay, this is the right direction. Yeah. And there's always that one guy, no, we're not going to go in the right direction.
But when shit does go down, it is fun to watch.
It is. So for like the last 10 minutes, maybe.
Yeah.
They're trying to go through like the map, right? You got the person that's on the map and it's like, you go this way, right? And the person's like,
no, we're going to take a shortcut, but we're going to get more lost going that way.
I think that I wouldn't. It's not a heavy recommend for me. If you want to check it out, check it out. But like,
girl from Descent that throws away the
book. Yeah, she's it's the Juno of movies.
Yeah. Also watched. We watched John Wick at my mom's while we had Christmas dinner because.
Why not?
That's a very Christmas.
Well, Jackson's like, I want to watch John Wick. I want to watch John Wick. I was like, well, Grandma has John Wick because we have John Wick. But I was like. They want to watch. I was like, well, we got to go over to Grandma. I was like, well, do they have John Wick? Like, they do have John Wick. So watch it over there. So we watched John Wick. Which I watched that movie and I'm like, this movie is so great. It is like one of the best action movies of all time. I got to say, like, I love John Wick, man. That movie is so fucking good. Watch more of The Haunting of Hill House. I've got like 3 or 4 episodes left, I think. So we're getting into it, and I will say I do like the characters in this show more. I like the development of them more than I did with Fallout House of Usher. Mm-hmm. So because I started out,
you see a family there.
Yeah. I saw a lot of a lot of problems here. So the lesbian girl, I didn't like her at first, and then I liked her because she put the pet her ass behind bars. But now I just got through an episode where I'm like, I don't like you anymore. You're a bitch.
You go
You did one thing
through
good.
these ups and
Yeah,
downs with the
yeah.
characters and stuff.
A lot of them, yeah. The only one that I've consistently liked is the dad. So far, anyway. I don't know if something might come up about him. The mom and the drug addict. Even the drug addict brother was like, you're like, he could be a shitty, but he's just an addict. Like, he's doing what addicts do.
I
And
remember,
he's not, but he tries to help.
I remember liking the dad,
and of course the young sister that dies.
Yeah, I remember liking the dad. I remember liking the young sister. Those are the only two I remember, though, liking consistently throughout the whole series. I remember liking the author, but only from the perspective that, yeah, like, he's kind of shitty, but
He's okay. He doesn't bother me that much.
He's
really.
not doing anything necessarily that's causing harm.
No, exactly.
You know, he's just...
Yeah, his sister calls it blood money, and it's like, why is it blood money?
Exactly.
Because your mom lost her shit and died, or whatever.
Yeah, like, I didn't
I
understand.
haven't gotten into her yet, so.
Yeah, I didn't really understand, I guess, why they called it blood money either. Like, because I looked at it from the perspective.
Yeah, because that lady is a fucking crybaby. She's always bitching and moaning. And...
Well, and I always felt like he did it from the perspective of kind of a therapeutic way.
That he was also like willing to share the money with all of his family. He's like, I'll give you all.
Yeah.
Like percentages, like of all the royalties and everything.
At first, he did it as a therapeutic way, and then he was like, "Why not make money from it?" I mean, you know what I mean? Like, I'm not trying to say it was exactly clean what he did, but it's not exactly wrong either.
Right,
I guess.
Yeah, he took some liberties with it. And that,
yeah.
But, he made money off of you guys' trauma. Make some money off of it.
Yeah, I didn't hate the author guy, I guess is what I'm saying.
I didn't hate him either.
I didn't really think that he was as awful as they tried to say he was, I guess.
Right.
But
also, I watched Thanksgiving. Did you watch?
I haven't watched that one yet.
You haven't watched it? I really liked it.
I've heard wonderful things.
I really liked it. It was really good, actually. I was surprised. I didn't think it was going to be that good. And at first, like after I watched it, I was like, yeah, it was okay. But the more I've thought about it, I'm like, man, that movie.
I have heard wonderful things. I can't wait to watch it.
So I guessed the killer. You watched it with me, didn't you? No, Ada watched it with me.
Yeah.
And I guessed the killer, I think, 10 minutes into the movie. But it was also kind of like I was going off of what I know from horror movies and seeing past movies and things like that. So it was like one of those things where I was like, I think that's the killer. And I was right at the end, so. Because it could have been anybody. Because you're like, all these people are set up to be like, it could be.
Yeah, that's a good slasher movie when they try to set up a million people. And yeah. It
was good. It was quality. You could tell, shit, what's his name? The director. I know his name.
I'll be honest, I don't think I know who directed that one.
Yeah, well, you know him. It's Eli Roth.
Oh, duh, yeah.
So
I don't technically usually like his movies.
Yeah, a lot of people don't because he's not a good director.
No, he's not.
But this movie is good.
Okay, good.
So, like, everybody said, they're like, wow, this is surprising from Eli Roth.
Yeah, because I usually do not like Eli Roth's movies.
You can tell he definitely holds back.
I like him as an actor. He's a good actor.
Yeah. So, like, I usually don't like his movies. He definitely holds back in, like, the gore, especially. Like, it is gory in some areas.
Which is surprising, because usually that's the only good thing about his movies.
Well, in this, like, it's gory when it needs to be gory. Instead of going over the top with it, like he likes to do.
Yeah, he usually does.
So... It's really good, though. I'll give it a lot of credit. And this is definitely a good Thanksgiving horror movie.
Okay.
It's definitely something I'll watch next year for Thanksgiving.
Okay.
And then last but not least, going full circle with that writer dude, I watched Rebel Moon on Netflix.
Okay.
Have you watched it yet?
Not yet.
Dude, I don't care what anybody says, the critics or anybody. That movie was fucking badass.
Okay.
It was directed by Zack Snyder.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely recommend. I don't care what anybody says. They're like being pretty harsh on the movie. Like, they're like, oh, there's no character development. Well, yeah, it's a 2-part movie. So, this one's like 2 hours and like 15 minutes long. And the second one this one's called A Child of Fire. And the next one's called, I don't remember what the next one's called actually. Caregiver or something like that. I don't remember. Either way, but like, it's a really good fucking movie. Like, especially if you're into Zack Snyder's like style of directing, his slow, like, just cinematic, like, great shots and like all the like, it's a fantastic looking movie. It's fun. The characters are fun. the lead character, the girl, she fucks people up in this movie. She like, it's just a fun movie. It's just and he's also so he's doing this movie, and the next one comes out in April, I believe they said.
I think Jeremiah really wants to see that.
Yeah. So the first one's on it's on Netflix, but like, and then I guess 2 months after the next one comes out, they're releasing the director's cut, which because this movie's rated PG-13, so I believe that the director's cut will probably be a little bit longer with more development and also probably more violent.
Mm.
Because Zack Snyder tends to do that he'll do that with his movies is he'll release a movie and they're like director's cuts are the only like for Zack Snyder are like director's cut movies for him are the only ones that people care about. Like, so he's going to do a director's cut that's going to release a couple months after the next movie comes out.
4.5 hours long.
And then a couple months later, he's going to do the other director's cut. So I'm really looking forward to it. I really like the first one. I don't give a shit what the critics or anybody says. I thought it was a fun movie and I loved it. So
I usually don't care what critics say.
yeah, like it's just one of them things where I think they're painting it for a lot of reasons because this movie is based off of a rejected Star Wars pitch that he had at Disney.
Oh.
He went to Disney and was or no, he went to Lucasfilms or something like that. And was like, hey, I want to do an R-rated Star Wars film. And they're like, no, get that shit out of here. So he took that script that he had wrote originally for that and kind of revamped it and stuff, and then came out with Rebel Moon. And you can tell there's a lot of things in it, like the girl and stuff like that, that's supposed to be kind of like the Luke Skywalker and this and that. And you can see a lot of that. Do you
think they ripped some of it for what they've done with Star Wars?
What do you mean?
Did they take like that Rey character? You think that they might have ripped some of it because like a lot of that stuff came out after he took that script?
It's a possibility because
I just thought of that.
Maybe.
I'm just curious.
I don't know. It could be.
You would know better than me. I don't know.
There are some similarities there, but like I think he probably changed the script so much that it would be unrecognizable if it was Star Wars.
If it was yeah.
So I think that, but I don't know. I don't know a lot about like the whole origin story behind.
If you knew what the original script was, you'd be able to tell.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, but I love all the characters in it so far. Like that dude who plays the writer in Haunting Hill House, he's in it.
I love that guy.
And he does a really good job. Like at first you're like, this guy's kind of a douche. But then you're like, but he's not a douche. Like he's like a very sympathetic character.
There's a reason he's doing what he's doing.
Yeah. Well, he's not like a bad guy. He's a good guy. So he's pretty awesome. And it's a stat cast too. It's got like Charlie Hunnam in it and shit. It's good though. I know Eric will like it. Eric will definitely like it. So
I'll have to check it out.
It's a good movie.
I need something to watch that's actually good.
If anything, for the action and like the cinematic
Eric will
stuff.
come next week drooling if he doesn't get a good movie in here sooner or
I
later.
watch a lot of
twitching.
shitty movies. I need it. I need something good. Just need a fix, man.
Y'all got a good movie.
Got a good movie.
Free kick.
All right. Let's move on here. Well, we're an hour in. Jesus.
Whoopsies.
See what happens when we don't have work.
Take your time. You're gonna have a 3-hour fucking podcast today.
Hope you guys didn't have anything to do either.
Yeah. All right. Let's go ahead and get into our movie.
Let's talk about the movie.
Oh, man. We watched The Descent this week. We just watched it this morning right before you guys got here.
Did you?
Yeah, we were going to watch it last night. Huh?
I watched it last night.
I was going to, but I was like, I just wasn't up for it after Christmas, and we watched the Santa Claus, and Chris was like, are you watching that movie tonight? I was like, I don't really want to. So we can watch it in the morning, I guess. So we watched it this morning. Nothing like waking up and watching drooling monsters all over the TV screen.
Drooling fucking super glue.
Yeah, it was gross.
Fucking
Anyway,
pie pieces dropping out.
Crap. Where do we go from here? I always forget.
Synopsis.
Yeah, the plot synopsis. Karen, have at it.
After a tragic event, six friends. It used to be I would forget that I had a plot synopsis.
Yeah,
Now,
I'm like, wait.
now you're
I
forgetting.
forgot that. Like, do we do the plot first, or do we do the recommend first? It's like I can't remember. Like, yeah, you're right. We do the synopsis, then the recommend.
After a tragic accident, six friends reunite for a caving expedition. Their adventure soon goes horribly wrong when a collapse traps them deep underground, and they find themselves pursued by bloodthirsty creatures. As their friendships deteriorate, they find themselves in a desperate struggle to survive the creatures and each other. Rated R, 1 hour and 39 minutes. Shauna McDonald plays Sarah. Natalie Mendoza as Juno. Alex Reed as Beth. Mayanna Burring as Sam. Saskia Mulder as Rebecca. And Nora Jane Nguyen as Holly.
All right, let's go around the table. Eric.
So for me, did I like it? It's a good movie. It's not my cup of tea because it's just got too much of that claustrophobicness for me. So
it's effective.
It's effective.
I thought he was gonna say it wasn't his cup of tea because it wasn't a bad movie.
No.
But,
It's like the Buried movie for me. Like, it's a great movie. I would recommend it to anyone. I will never watch it again.
Yeah, it's kind of for me. Like, I'm not gonna probably watch it again. For me, but yes, I will recommend it to other people.
Okay,
it's just not my cup of tea.
Right, Karen.
I'll watch and recommend it because this one is not as bad for me. Like,
right,
they can still move around. But there is a couple of scenes where it's like, fucking go!
Like that part where she gets stuck.
Yeah, that very first, like, when
that part was a little, like, even it makes me a little nervy. Like, ew.
Dude, that very first scene where, like, the cave-in happens, like, the whole time, you can ask Jeremiah, I was like this, like, fucking go! Get out of there!
Yes!
Like,
Just,
I can't,
bitch, move!
I can't take that shit. Like, I'll take those creatures 1,000 times. I will fight them to the death.
Yeah.
Those tight spaces, I cannot fucking take it.
I never understood
I can't fucking take it.
Well, I mean,
them.
For me, it's like when they first, rappel down in that mouth cave, and they're like, "Oh yeah, we gotta go down." I found the hole, and that first hole is like, "No, I'm going back up."
Yeah, she says, "There's only one way out of here, and it's that way." And I'm like, "No, I see another one.
Yeah.
I can go up,
back up the rope.
I can go back up.
Down. Yeah.
I'll crawl. I will." I'm not. No, that is not the other. That's not the only way. I see another one, a big one.
And like she's seen like, human bloody fingerprints.
Yeah,
like,
she didn't say anything.
That's a nope right there. Whatever that's going on there that's a nope.
All right, Madison, would you watch and recommend?
Yeah, I would. Me personally would not recommend going there, but I would recommend the movie.
Wouldn't recommend it as a vacation
anytime
spot.
somebody says, hey, let's go cave diving. No, you be my guest. I'll stay right here and I'll wait for you.
I like how they call it spelunking, as if they're going to give it a fun name, and I'll be all down for it.
Spelunking.
Fuck you.
Like, that sounds fun. Let's do that.
And then you find out what it's called, or what it really is, and you're like, no, I brought a swimming suit.
Yeah,
I brought a swimming suit. I thought that's what this was.
Yeah, it sounded fun. Like we're gonna go like diving in the ocean or something.
Yeah.
Like looking at the coral reef.
For me, this is a heavy recommend for me. Like, this is one of the best horror movies.
Agreed.
In the past 25 years.
To me, if it can make your skin crawl, that's a good horror movie.
This movie is, like, whenever I've watched it back in, like, 06 or whatever, this movie definitely threw me for a loop because I was like, wow, an actual original idea, an original horror movie.
And it ends so dark.
It does, too. Well, it depends on which version of it.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Because
So,
there is a sequel.
Well, yeah, for the
There is?
theatrical version, there is a sequel, yeah.
Yeah, we'll get into that.
We'll get into that. But like, this movie definitely had a lot of original ideas. So those monsters, like that, those types of monsters,
Looks like a skinwalker.
spawn from, like, you see them in like other.
I have a theory about that.
I mean, yeah.
They spawned a lot of other monsters that look similar to them.
Mm-hmm.
So like, if you've ever seen Pandorum or Pandorium, I think it is, or
Yeah.
the one on the spaceship or whatever.
Yeah, I think it's Pandorium.
Pandorium. I have it. I have it upstairs. But those creatures on that
Look very
a lot
similar.
like
I think the
this.
only difference really is they have like pointier ears,
Pointier
and
ears.
they have more teeth that show.
Yeah.
And they can see though, right?
They can see. They can
see,
smell.
yeah.
Hear
Yeah.
everything.
And
Because they were actually originally human.
They look a little more batty.
Yeah.
I think. Yeah.
And so
They all were. I mean, even the ones in this movie.
it definitely
They
spawned
look
a different.
more like they had
Yeah.
like pointier ears and like I don't know. Like
they had
the,
a system
the face
too,
was a little bit
yeah.
more like protrusive.
They had a hierarchy, and
Which
stuff
honestly,
like
that movie was really good too. So if you've
yeah,
never
I
seen
enjoyed that movie. I've watched that.
But anyway, yeah, that sounds like a pretty heavy recommend from all
Yeah,
of us.
absolutely.
Let's go ahead and get into.
That's why I would really
Movie.
recommend Buried too, because it is a fantastic horror movie.
Mhm.
I can't handle it though. That's
Yeah.
why it's such a really good horror movie.
It is a
I
very
can't do it.
nerve-wracking movie to
It's-
watch
yeah.
if you're not if you're.
And I don't
kinda
even know if it's really a
claustrophobic
horror
and-
movie. It might be a drama, but like I'm telling you, that movie wrecked my shit for like a month. I can't do it.
All right, Madison is going to read our movie for us, and we are going to go from open. I don't think it's super long. No, it's not very long.
It's okay, Dad. I know how to read.
But then the last time it wasn't very long. They also left a lot of shit out.
No
so.
shit.
But this movie doesn't like have a lot of like large plot points. It's
No,
just-
No,
it's a
no.
very cut and dry kind
Yeah.
of movie. So
Juno, Sarah, and Beth are whitewater rafting in Scotland. Sarah's husband, Paul, and their daughter, Jessica, wave and cheer from the bank. On the drive back to their hotel, Paul is distracted, causing a collision. Paul and Jessica are killed, but Sarah survives. 1 year later, Juno, Sarah, Beth, Sam, and Rebecca are united at a cabin in the
That was, like, the
Appalachian
worst part of the movie. Seeing
Appalachian
the little girl,
Mountains.
Like, well, you don't see it, but you know, like
North
right off the
Carolina.
bat.
Because she was right behind her dad.
Yeah.
what?
He said that was like the worst part of the movie, knowing what happened to that
Yeah,
little
Madison
girl.
didn't even catch it because she goes
Just seeing the
because
blood.
she saw her crying and stuff. She's like, "Wait, where's the daughter?" I was like, "She died." She goes, "Oh," like she didn't realize that she had died. You have to see that. It's just because of where the
she
pipe
was
went in.
right where
Well,
like
that, and you
where
see-
that
you see
pipe.
where
Well,
the
yeah, because I
blood-
thought because the way it was, I thought it stopped after it went through the thing.
I knew once I seen like the blood underneath the car where the blood was. It was towards the back. It
Which
was
is
like
weird. I don't understand why there was blood under the car. I saw that too.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
didn't get that quite
Maybe it's
either.
just
but
just trying to
Transition
show
fluid.
you like
I think it was
death.
just their way of showing you that the daughter got it too,
I
without
guess,
having
maybe.
to
It was kinda
show
dumb.
you.
I was like,
I agree, but
I don't see it as
Plenty of kids
blood.
die in movies.
it's not very realistic.
So
How
I
is it
think
going to
it's-
leak out of the
I
body?
think
As
it's
a parent,
transmission-
when you
I'm
see
gonna
a
call
kid
it
die,
transmission
it-
fluid.
Yeah,
Because transmission
There you go.
fluid's kind of got that.
yeah,
red
it's got the
tint
red
to
tint
it.
to
It's
it.
true.
I'm
All
calling
right.
it transmission fluid.
Yeah, it leaked all the way back there.
I mean, they could.
That must be what their transmission is.
Yeah.
Are reunited at a cabin in the Appalachian Mountains of North Carolina, USA. Holly, Juno's friend, is introduced as they reminisce over an old photo of Juno, Sarah, and Beth. Sarah says, "Love each day," explaining that it was saying of her late husband. It was a saying of her late husband. The next morning, the group goes caving, when the group breaks for lunch in a huge gallery, Juno tearfully apologizes to Sarah for not being there for her after the accident, but Sarah is distant. As the group moves through the next passage, it collapses behind them, with Sarah barely making it through. After a
Skipped it
heated
really
discussion,
quick.
Juno admits that she has led them into an unknown cave system
She'd
instead
have
of
died
the
right
fully
there.
explored
Mhm.
cave system they
So
planned
she
for.
would have died right there.
What?
I'd have killed the bitch.
Yeah.
Why?
When she said she didn't bring the book and that they weren't in the cave system that they had all agreed upon to go into.
Would that book have helped any, though?
No, the
It
book
wouldn't
wouldn't have helped.
not,
Once
no,
you
not,
found out
but
you were not in the
when
right
they found out
cave.
that they weren't in the cave system that they thought they were in.
Oh, yeah.
They were in an unknown cave system.
Yeah.
It's like, what?
Why would you do that to me? You don't even know if there's an actual other exit to this place?
I'd have killed her.
Like, I hate you.
You're gonna die.
She would've dead
I
then.
have a lot of arguments on Juno's behalf, so
Okay, go.
keep going.
Yeah.
Keep going.
I want to hear it.
I have some arguments.
I wanna
for
hear.
her.
This might be a good show.
Uh,
we might have some arguments going
Team
on here.
Juno versus Team Fuck Juno.
The only people who were told about their expedition think they are at the other cave system, making rescue impossible. They are trapped with no way out. Privately, Juno tells Sarah that she led them into an unknown cave, hoping to restore their relationship, but Sarah rebuffs her. The group discovers a cave painting and climbing equipment from a previous visitor, suggesting a second exit exists. Wouldn't that but how do you know they got out?
Well, they're not saying that they know that they got out. They just know that
They
were
weren't
other
the
people
first.
there.
yeah, they weren't the first, which means that
To me, that would mean that was a bad sign.
Uh-huh. Especially
Because-
if they
Well,
found
you know-
their
you see
equipment.
the equipment, but you don't see the remnants of the person. So you
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah,
If
But
they
that doesn't
actually-
mean anything. You know, she knows, and you know that cave system's never been discovered. Just because you don't see the remains there doesn't mean
Well,
a
that's
damn
true.
thing.
That's true. I mean, if there's no indication that has been discovered, that's telling you that those people didn't make it out.
Right,
because
not
they
to
can't
mention the
say
main
that.
Yeah,
girl
seeing
Sarah
their
saw
equipment-
blood marks.
Yeah,
Like,
seeing their equipment there would just fill me with terror, not make me feel better.
mm-mm.
Yeah, you're right.
Yeah, no.
I mean, nothing about this situation is good anyway.
No,
No,
I'm just
hell
saying
no.
any
I'm
hope.
already scared shitless anyway.
Well,
at
sure, but
this
I'm just
point.
saying any hope that you might have had. Like we're probably the worst people to ask how we would be feeling in this situation.
Yeah.
Those girls have got like balls bigger than any man
Right,
I've ever
I
met.
agree. Yeah.
But I'm just saying that even if I am those girls and this is something I do on my weekends.
I think after the cave collapsed and she said she didn't bring the book and this is an undiscovered cave, that's where I'd start panicking. Like,
Mhm.
oh
well,
fuck,
and even
Like,
if
we
you
might
think,
die in here.
even if you think
They
we've
did
got
die in there.
we've got a chance because this is something we do all the time.
right.
Seeing that equipment and knowing that this is an undiscovered cave system, that's when I'm like, we're fucked.
Mm-hmm.
We're not the first.
I don't think I could ever go exploring even a newly found cave because you don't know what's in there. Whether or not someone found something in there doesn't mean anything because what if they just didn't find what's in there?
See, the only thing
there
that
could
really
still be things in there.
the thing that really bothers me, and you could probably argue this, but is whenever that cave collapses, you're telling me that the creatures haven't gone through that hole hundreds and hundreds of times, and it just now collapses on them. Now, the only argument that I can make for that can be made for that point is that before that cave, before that hole, there was no remains, nothing like that. So maybe the creatures knew that it was unstable and didn't go through it ever
Mm-hmm.
because of that reason. That's the only thing that I could think, like the only argument that I would be able to make for it.
You can make two arguments actually. That one and the other one is just like your home or whatever. They know where to step, where to move.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
pretty
they
much, yeah.
they could go through there knowing where to move. Or,
but I feel like
I
if
don't think
knew
they
that,
go through that spot because
Yeah.
before they get out of that whole the cave systems before that, you don't really see any remnants.
there's
of
there's no dead animals, nothing like that.
Any of them being on that side.
Yeah,
of the
my
cave.
guess
Now,
is
once
that-
they get
True.
through the cave,
My guess is that they just never use it, and that would be my argument for it. Is that
Yeah.
they never used it because they knew it was unstable and unsafe.
And I will say it's got a very real sense of realism because if you look at the rocks and stuff that are in there, it's like limestone and stuff, which is
Yeah.
known to be very unstable rock in general. And for them to be such big spelunkers, it kind of surprises me that they would have been like, oh yeah, this is a good passage.
Yeah, but that's it. That's just the thing, though. Is I don't think they are spelunkers. They do it, but I think they're just thrill seekers.
Mm-hmm.
they are.
So
and I guess
I don't think they're.
junkies.
I don't think they're anything special at anything except for the one girl who says she does base jumping. And
Fair enough.
So the other ones are just like, oh, we just like doing fun stuff.
That's
you
fair.
know?
Yeah,
And I don't think that they're actually just spelunkers or.
that's fair.
That's why.
Yeah, they may not have a specialty.
That's
in any
the
of
idea
them.
that I got from them because at the beginning they were just doing white water
Yeah,
rafting or
that's
whatever.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
that just tells me, they're just thrill seekers.
That's fair. That's fair.
That's why I don't know why. That's one thing that I'm like, why would you go into this cave?
Yeah, why would you go into an unknown cave system?
you're an unexperienced.
Who gives a fuck if it's a tourist trap? If this isn't something you're,
And another thing that tells me that they're inexperienced at this, they were really struggling to be able to keep themselves held up. Those are basically going
rock
across the
climbers,
monkey bars. I mean, you're holding yourself up. You can't. You're
and you
struggling
think
to
with
put your other
your
arm up,
adrenaline where it is,
yeah.
that would be easier to do. I don't know.
Juna keeps the ladder secret, allowing the group to remain hopeful. Holly falls down a hole and breaks her leg. Sam gets Holly
You dead, bitch. See ya.
Yeah.
Should've listened. Bye.
Yeah. Sam gets Holly's fracture with a splint, and they carry her as the others help Holly. Sarah wanders off and observes a pale humanoid creature drinking at a pool.
And you
It
know that other
scampers
exit
off-
probably was up. And they had to go down to get her ass.
Mhm.
That's the shitty part is like that Holly girl was a fucking moron. Like Juno kept saying, "We're gonna do this my way. We're gonna do this safe," and she goes
She's like,
sprinting
"Stop,
through
wait."
an unaware cave.
I go first.
Like she just goes sprinting through like an idiot. Like you don't. What
I
are you
see
doing?
a light!
It's fucking dark. Like
That's not light.
yeah,
She told her too. She's like, "It's not outside light. Stop."
yeah.
And then she fell. Get what you deserve. Anyways, it scampers off in the darkness when Sarah gasps. The others think Sarah imagined it, but Sarah insists that she saw someone soon after they are attacked by one of the creatures referred to as crawlers. The group scatters, and the crawler rips Holly's throat. Well, she was dead weight anyways, her leg was broke. But Sarah trips and falls and passes out.
They kind of
seeing-
did them a favor.
A little bit, yeah, by offing her.
Mhm.
Yeah, because they don't have to make that terrible choice.
Yeah.
I don't want to be the one to say it, but we were all thinking it.
Seeing
Shoot,
Holly
yeah,
is
shoot,
still alive.
eventually.
Seeing Holly is still alive, Juno tries to defend her from the crawlers, but in confusion she whirls around only to stab Beth through the neck with her pickaxe.
See that part right there.
Dude, I was like, oh,
You
Now,
could tell
Juno
she,
didn't do anything wrong there.
no.
No, she was fighting for her life, and she got scared from behind,
And
she
and
swung.
I feel bad that any
But this is the downward spiral that I'm going to be talking about.
Yes.
With Juno, like
Mhm.
she's, yeah, it sucks what she did, but she didn't do it on purpose.
No,
That's
that
But they
is
hold
that.
her accountable anyway.
even
I agree,
Beth
in
what
that
they
does,
situation-
what they
Beth
hold
should
her
have known.
accountable is that she left her.
Because she thought she was dead.
Yes,
That's true.
She thought
She
she
practically was.
This is the one thing that Juno didn't do wrong
No,
that she got held accountable for. Now, it's sort of like the boy who cried wolf, though.
Right.
You tell a lie so many times, and
I
the
know.
one time you don't.
it's hard to believe.
But I think in her defense, I think the
She
reason
didn't get
why
a
she would
chance to
tell that
explain it,
lie
though.
is so that there wouldn't be any.
She was
No,
going
no, no, I
to,
think-
I
think
tell
the point
lie
is
until
like-
they got out, and then probably be like, yeah, this is what happened.
No, I think that it's just that she couldn't be trusted. And at that point, especially with everything going on around her and what was happening, she just found out that the bitch was, cheating on her husband and everything. Cheating with her husband. Like,
She
at that
did?
point,
Wait,
yeah.
what?
Yeah, Juno was banging the girl's husband.
yeah.
That's why she had the necklace.
That necklace,
from
it
her
said on the
husband.
back, "Love each day," came from her husband.
Yeah,
I didn't even catch that.
I figured
Juno
you'd catch
cheating
that. I thought I was
on
saying something. I was
Sarah-
like, we'll see.
No, that she just found that out. So she finds that
Like,
out
when she
on
was
top of
dying,
knowing that Juno
or-
can't be trusted, and then her friend says she tried to, or that she killed her. What are you gonna think? What are you gonna believe? You know what I mean?
I get that.
Yeah,
I do get that, but I think that's what Juno was trying to
Oh, you mean
avoid.
Sarah?
Was that paranoia?
I agree that
So-
I'm not saying that
There's a
wasn't
whole
a
fucking-
shitty.
right.
Girl, that makes so much more sense.
Like-
I'm not gonna lie.
I'm not saying that wasn't shitty, but given everything else, it's not that she didn't get her comeuppance.
Right.
I mean,
get it.
Juno's the reason that I
You're
don't
in
have a
that
lot of
situation.
girlfriends.
But I
You know what I'm
was-
saying? Like that girl,
Don't
that
get me wrong.
she is
I-
the personification of why women can't be trusted.
right.
So like, you're down there with her, and she's the last one left. Yeah, I'm probably gonna fucking nail you too.
Bait.
Like, yeah, you're bait.
Yeah.
You're fucking bait. Sorry. Like, yeah, the one thing she didn't do wrong was the thing she got nailed for. Yeah, sorry, that sucks. But how about all the other karma that you did do wrong?
I get it. So
I
in
don't think
this
she deserved
in this
to die,
specific
though.
situation, yeah, that's where I'm at. I don't think she deserved to die.
None of them deserve
you don't
to die.
have to be right. I get that, but she didn't cause that either.
No.
Now, don't get me wrong. She
Mm.
took him down into a cave system that was undiscovered. Blah
Yeah.
blah blah.
Yeah, that's where I was like,
But at the same time, she didn't know there were fucking monsters in there either. You know what I
Right?
mean?
She didn't expect that.
Like these are creatures that nobody's ever seen before.
But still, everything she did was for a selfish reason.
That's not true.
Even-
She went back to save her friends,
that, and she was
and
going
she's also
down there.
she was
for
also the
Sarah.
first one to fend them
She's
off.
not. She's not.
She wasn't going down in the cave to help her friend through a
No,
tough
she
time?
says she's going down there to help repair that friendship.
Yeah,
She's doing it for her own selfish reasons.
probably. You're probably not wrong about
She's
that.
only
but-
just trying to repair that friendship because she feels so damn bad about it. She can absolve her own conscience. It has nothing to do with how Sarah feels or what she's done to Sarah. Everything she does is for a selfish reason. Everything.
True, but she also says we're not leaving without Sarah.
Because she feels so damn bad about what
I mean,
she's
she
done.
could
to
leave her
Sarah.
there to die.
I don't think.
Yeah, and then
no
it would
matter-
eat her alive for the rest of her life, and she has no way to absolve herself.
Yeah,
That's
but wouldn't
way
it
to-
eat you alive too?
Yeah. Yeah, but I would have a totally different way of dealing with it. I would have told her. I would have done my due diligence.
I mean, don't get me wrong. The Sarah girl isn't at fault in any way here, other
Correct.
than sticking that thing through the girl's leg and using her as bait.
I don't
Literally,
disagree.
Like fish
Like
on
she,
bait.
yeah.
I don't
like-
disagree.
Like Juno didn't kill anybody on purpose. She didn't do this to anybody on purpose. She didn't mean to do any of this. And so this is where my argument is, because I feel like she gets the shaft. Yeah, she was a shitty person, and she was fucking that girl's husband, but does she deserve to die for it? Like, come on. And then so the girl shoves that thing through her leg and uses her as bait to protect herself. Like, how's that any better?
That and why does
No,
the,
I'm not
the girl
saying.
that
And I'm
she-
saying that if given the given a different situation, things would have been handled differently. Things would have ended differently.
Right.
But given the situation that they have, that's the appropriate ending for both of them.
Okay. I don't know.
But with like the best
Given
girl,
what
the girl
they
that was
know.
stabbed through the throat by Juno, why would she say that she can't be trusted? Like she did it on purpose.
Because given what
it's-
she knows about the situation,
Yeah. Not to mention, I
she
think
doesn't know that Juno didn't mean to do that to her.
she doesn't know, and also
She doesn't know that Juno
this is
thought she
another
was dead
thing,
when
though.
she left her.
This is another thing, that Beth girl knew that she was fucking the girl's husband.
Correct. That's
Yeah.
another thing. That's
So-
one argument that I have too, is that she knew that girl was fucking her husband. Why
So-
didn't she tell?
Yeah, why isn't she accountable?
Correct.
In some way?
I don't disagree with you there either. However, all I'm saying in this situation, given where they are, what is happening, what each of those characters know about the situation and about each other, they all got the appropriate ending for their character, given the situation, where they are, what is happening, and what
Except
they know.
for the three innocent ones, like the one girl running through the cave, dumbass. But the other two, the sisters, they didn't.
Yeah,
deserve
no,
any
they
of it.
got
were
nothing.
completely innocent.
Mm-mm, completely
one of them
innocent.
was an English teacher.
No, I'm just specifically talking about
The other one was a doctor.
Juno.
Yeah, or gonna be a doctor at least.
No,
Who's
I'm just
about to get a
talking
PhD.
specifically about what happened between Juno and Sarah.
Right.
Yeah.
Sarah deserved her moment with Juno.
Right.
She deserved that, and given the time, what was happening, it was appropriate. You know,
I think that
she lost her daughter and her
I
husband,
get it.
and she had no way to reconcile those feelings because her husband's gone. She can't go to him.
It's funny because you
It's
could
over.
almost you can't directly do this, but you could almost hold Juno accountable for the death of them because it was because of her that he was distracted.
Mm-hmm.
But at the same time, you can't really hold her accountable for something that
Right.
But you
'cause
can
he
hold-
wasn't
He made
paying
the choice
attention while
of-
driving. You know what I mean?
There's lots of things you can hold her accountable for, though, too. You know, like she couldn't even be there for her friend because she was too wrapped up in her own feelings for it. You know, she lost her boyfriend. She couldn't even be there for her friend who lost her daughter on top of her husband. You know, not knowing what had happened. But you know, she lost her daughter. You can't even be there for her for that. Oh, boo-hoo! You lost your boyfriend. Shut the fuck up. She lost her kid.
Right.
Right.
I don't know, man. I think that you're talking about a whole other realm of like grieving and things like that. That like,
That's what I'm saying.
that this movie doesn't really dive too much into. You know?
No, all I'm trying to say is putting a little bit of perspective to it. What's going
Right.
through Sarah's head? Why Sarah may be a little bit more
Fucked
I
up.
don't
pissed
think Juno
off.
deserved to die though.
I don't either. And actually, if you watch the sequel, she didn't die.
Yeah.
So the reason why they go back into the cave because both them girls are in. The
I don't think
second
she's
movie.
done yet.
I'm not.
Oh, my
Yeah,
bad.
we're not we're not finished through it yet.
because I didn't.
we just-
I assume
we
we're
got-
not watching the second movie for the podcast.
I don't remember if I put them both in there or not. Because I don't remember if I considered the second one real or not.
It just depends on what
Let me look.
ending you like more, I guess.
I like the ending where she didn't survive. If I'm being honest,
I don't mind either one of them, to be honest.
I didn't care. I didn't think the second one was terrible. It's just not.
Yeah.
The second one's just kind of like a different version of it.
No,
No,
the second one is she goes back in.
She has to go back into the
Yeah.
cave system because nobody believes that these creatures exist.
that,
Sarah.
and then she finds out that Juno's still alive down there, and yeah.
Was it
It's-
like 2 weeks later or like
Oh,
a
no,
day
it's
later?
in
Yeah,
there.
it was like right
It's
after.
in there.
It was like right. It was like shortly after.
Yeah, it's literally like she gets out. It's like the next day.
So like the part where the part where she escapes in the car, blah blah blah, drives away. In the theatrical version, that's it. Like there's no dream sequence where she finds herself back in the cave.
I think we decided to put the second one in there just because the happy version is the American version.
I think that's what it is.
Yeah, it is the American version.
But what's his name? Neil Marshall.
Neil Marshall.
He direct the way his ending is the ending. If you watch the one where she's still in the cave at the end, that's his ending.
Yeah, that's the real ending.
So that's his ending. For
There
the
is. He did not do the sequel.
Yeah, he didn't do.
He had nothing
anything
to do with
the
it.
sequel.
He did do he was an executive producer.
Well, he'd have to be.
Yeah, he was an executive producer, and he helped them with some of the creatures and how they did some
I've only
of it.
seen the
but,
sequel like once.
yeah, I don't remember hating it.
I don't remember hating it either, but it was kind of one of them situations where you're like,
I
you have two
preferred.
different endings, and
Yeah,
I like the
preferred-
American ending, but I also like this ending more, or not more, but about the same because it makes sense for this ending, like the his ending to like where she's still in the cave, she doesn't survive. That makes sense. The American ending, I can see why people would want that because it's a little bit more of a upbeat, happier ending. She gets out, she's one survivor, but at the same time, I don't think she deserves to survive any more than the rest of the girls.
Mm-mm.
You know what I mean?
I prefer the bleak ending myself.
Yeah.
I do.
I watching it this time. I remember watching it before and thinking that the happier ending was better, but watching it this time, I probably might disagree a little bit. Like,
Yeah, I think the bleak
I
ending.
think the bleak ending's a little better,
yeah.
just because I feel like she doesn't deserve to live any more than the other girls do. So,
Anyways,
Yeah, let's see what ending they put in this business
that'd be
over here.
interesting. Yeah.
Beth grabs Juno's pendant as she drops to the ground, but
This
Juno
is
stumbles
off
away.
of Phantom.
and-
I guarantee you, it's the original ending.
You think so?
Yeah.
More likely.
But Juno stumbles away in shock as Beth reaches out to her. Juno eventually locates Sam and Rebecca and rescues them from a crawler. Juno tells them she may have found a way out, but will not leave without Sarah. The others reluctantly agree to help her search. Meanwhile, Sarah awakens and encounters the mortally wounded Beth, who tells Sarah that Juno wounded her and left her. Sarah does not believe her until Beth gives Juno her pendant, which is inscribed with the words "Love each day." Beth, in extreme pain, asks Sarah to euthanize her, and Sarah reluctantly complies. Sarah soon encounters and kills a young crawler, a female crawler, and a male crawler in quick succession. Elsewhere, Juno, Sam, and Rebecca are pursued by a large group of crawlers. Crawlers kill Sam and Rebecca, and Juno leaps into a chasm to escape.
Chasm.
Huh?
It's a chasm.
Chasm, my bad. Juno climbs out of the chasm and is helped onto a ledge by Sarah, who asks her if she saw Beth die. Juno nods. The two cautiously
Which in her
explore-
mind she did.
What?
Juno believes that she saw Beth die.
Right.
Because she
Right.
stuck that
Yeah,
in the
because she
picture.
did.
So she reluctantly, she's telling the truth. She believes she saw her die.
She just doesn't want to tell anybody that she's the reason why she
Yeah,
died.
she don't want to tell them
Not
at least
yet.
while
Not
at least
yet.
while they're in the cave
We don't
system.
know. She wouldn't have maybe
Admitted to it?
Yeah, admitted to it once they got
She
to the
probably
surface or
would
something.
have once they got out.
I don't think she would have.
I don't think so.
I don't think
I
she
still
would
think
have
she's
ever.
a very selfish person.
Yeah,
I'm not going to disagree with Karen on that. Like, she is kind of a selfish person. I mean, come on, she was fucking her best friend's
Yeah, no
husband.
shit.
But like, so for her to think that she's going to come out of this cave and
And the
tell them
eyes
the
they were
truth
giving
about
each
how
other,
she died, she's never
Yeah,
going to do that.
the
thought
eyes they
something
were
was
giving
going
each
on
other
at the
there,
beginning.
and the way he was distracted, I bet he was going to leave her. I bet
That was,
was
I think
the
that was
whole-
probably what was on
I
his
bet
mind.
that's the insinuation that
Yeah.
was going on there. That was the day he was going to tell her, and he was going to leave her that day
Yeah.
for her. I don't. Gina deserved to die. Fuck her. I don't care.
Gina was,
Fuck that
but
bitch.
Gina was
Fuck her.
hot. So
I don't give a fuck.
I
Juno was hot.
She was hot.
I don't give a fuck.
Sarah then faces Juno and reveals that she
Very
has Juno's
flexible.
pendant,
That
revealing
too.
that she knows that she wounded Beth. Sarah cripples Juno with a pickaxe. Juno pulls the pickaxe from her leg and turns to face a large group of crawlers while Sarah leaves her behind, with Juno's fighting screams fading as Sarah goes further. Sarah falls down a hole and is knocked unconscious. She awakens, but this is a short dream sequence. Scrambles up a huge pile of bones toward daylight, squeezes through a narrow opening onto the surface, runs to her vehicle, and speeds off. She pulls over to vomit and sees Juno sitting next to her, her face streaked with blood. And it doesn't say it, but in the end, she wakes up back in the cave and screams. It doesn't say that, but I figured I'd tell you guys that.
It says that she escaped.
That
Yeah,
she
it
escaped
says, but
and
this
got
is
in
a
the
short
car.
dream
And
sequence.
It said that it was a short dream sequence, but it doesn't say that she wakes up in the cave.
So in the original, or in the other ending, it was a short dream sequence, but she still wakes up in the car. That part where
She doesn't wake up. She pukes and then she turns back and
Juno's there, but then she wakes up in the car. That short part where she saw Juno
wakes up?
was a dream. Yeah, but she wakes up in the car.
Oh.
she pukes, probably passes out, and then wakes back up. And
I just
Juno's
remember her
not there.
puking and turning back.
I'm pretty
and
sure
seeing
in
Juno.
the American
this
version,
movie.
like she pulls over.
Yeah, in the American version,
throws
she wakes up in the car.
throws up, and then looks over, and there's Juno, and then she wakes
Yeah,
up
they're
in the
both
car.
dream sequences,
Right.
but she wakes up in the
So
car
this
in
doesn't
the American
specify
version.
which
And in
dream
this one,
sequence it
yeah,
is.
that's true.
So
Because in the American version, she wakes up in the car, and in the original version, she wakes up in the
in
cave.
the cave, yeah.
Yeah.
I
Yep.
think because it says her face streaked with blood, it stops right there. So I think it's like insinuating both of them. That's why I didn't put either of them.
Yeah,
at the
That's
end.
true,
Depends
because
on
it doesn't
whichever
know
one
which
you-
one you've seen. Or,
Yeah.
yeah, that's true.
So I mean, it's a preference. It's whatever you guys want. Like if you want to, some people might say don't even bother with the second one because the ending of the first one was better. But who's to say that she still didn't get out? I mean, she wasn't dead at the end of the first one, regardless.
Right.
It's
So
true.
she was still alive.
The only thing I will say is that all throughout the movie, the candle that the cake that the little girl has 5 candles, and there's 6 friends. And then at the end, when she's sitting there with her little girl, there's 6 candles, insinuating that Sarah's the 6th. So she's gonna
Right.
bite it. That's the
Maybe.
insinuation. But
Is that what they say in trivia?
I just took that as an insinuation
what you-
because there were 6 friends and there was always 5 candles on the birthday cake all the time
Right.
throughout the movie. And the little girl was 5, so that's just the obvious whatever. But then at the end of the movie, when it's her and her daughter there, and she's the last one, there's 6 candles. So I assume that means that Sarah's about to die because she's the 6th.
Right. Maybe.
Or
I don't know.
Maybe it was the little girl's birthday.
I think that the movie, this movie has so the creatures themselves are something original that I loved about it. This is back. When did this movie come out? 05 or 06?
Something like that.
And when it came out, like it was something completely new and original, and I loved it for that. Along with something else that came out that year that I really liked, that I can't remember. But like I think the original, the first version that I watched of this movie was the American version, and I went back later on and rewatched it and watched because I've seen this movie probably 3 or 4 times, and I watched the original ending from the director, and I walked away from that one thinking I like the American version more because
Probably
at least
the
one of
first
them made
one.
it out.
It was probably the first one that you'd seen, and you'd had time to marinate on that
Right.
one longer.
Yeah, probably. And
Yeah.
then, but going back and watching it this time, seeing this ending again, like the original ending again,
Yeah.
I think I really liked that ending more because it's not just that it's bleak, but also you don't know. It leaves it open. Like it leaves you open. Like, does she survive or does she die? It could leave it open for a sequel, or you could just leave it there at that and say, well, she probably died.
I like it just because it is that bleak version, and just because we have like 99% of horror movies in general are always happy.
I know.
They
They're
always
always
end
happy,
happy.
endings. Yeah. When
And I'm not-
in an actual situation like this, let's get realistic here.
Yeah, I mean, I'm not trying to, say that that's a bad thing necessarily. It's just you expect it, and it gets old after a while. Like, it's always shiny rainbows at the end of every movie. So it's kind of nice to see a bleak one every now and then, kind of like The Mist. The end of The Mist, that rips your heart out, but it's a perfect ending.
Till this day.
Yeah, it's a perfect ending to that movie. I mean, it's perfect, but I mean, it's just nice to see that bleak ending every once in a while, just because it keeps it fresh.
Yeah, it's like, man, you walk away from the movie feeling a little depressed, but at the same time, you're like, that's the reality of it.
Correct.
You know what I mean? So in this situation, it's the same thing here.
So I have kind of a theory. She hit on it a little bit when she said skinwalkers. So that's the Appalachian Mountains. My grandma used to tell me all kinds of weird stories. She didn't believe in any like supernatural monsters, anything like that. She used to tell us all kinds of creepy stories about that stuff in the Appalachian Mountains and stuff when she lived in Kentucky. And you hear all kinds of weird stories about, skinwalkers, wendigos. That's where all of those things, all of those original stories came from, was the Appalachian Mountains.
Really? From the Appalachian Mountains?
Mm-hmm. Skinwalkers.
Probably because the forests are so dense and
yeah, there's
creepy.
all kinds of weird stories that come out of there. Yeah. Come out of there all the time. So I wonder, like, if these creatures were real, let's say. Like, if that's where those, stories, like, in this universe, if that's where those stories came from. Because, they come out to hunt, right?
Yeah.
And they would be white, which is what you always hear when you hear about skinwalkers and wendigos. You always hear white, like they're white and they're fast. Like,
possibly.
I was just thinking about that, watching that. I was like, I bet, like, in that
especially
universe.
so secluded, like that cave is so secluded into the woods, and I'm not even sure how the hell she found it, but yeah,
or
for
know
that,
about it. That's true. How did she find that or know about it?
Probably through word of mouth or something, maybe.
Yeah, you have circles of people when you're like thrill seekers. You probably talk, and,
hikers come across caves all the time.
Yeah.
But maybe,
fishermen, there was that big creek right there.
Yeah, a little river.
Well, not to mention she apparently, I don't know if she owns or rents those cabins. I'm sure she probably does a lot of hiking through there anyway.
Yeah.
But
because didn't she say something about tracking or going through a trail to see before? Like,
I'm sure I don't know, but I don't know. I don't want to dive too much into that, but but it seems like I don't know, man. I will say one thing I do appreciate about this movie is an entire female cast.
Yep.
There's no male presence in this. It shows great strength in women, especially in like Juno and where the main character Sarah, the main character Sarah finds her strength in this too.
How they don't back down.
Yeah, and they don't back down. So like Juno's badass from the beginning because she's like, as soon as they come in, she starts killing them. She's like, fuck that, you know what I mean? And she fights for her friend while the other ones just scatter. This is why I had respect for Juno at the beginning, because they all scattered and ran off while she's the one who stayed behind to try to, even though her friend was already dead, still tried to defend and protect her friend's body, by fending them off.
Well, her pupils, like, they
dilated. Yeah, they dilated.
Yeah,
because she died.
She died.
Oh, I thought it was doing that because of light.
No, they did that because she was dead.
I'm a little slow.
Well, see, but that's the thing that killed me is like you seen how her pupils actually shrink. When you die, your pupils expand.
Enlarge, yeah.
So that's what threw me off because, like she said, when
your pupils shrink, so they shrink to
light.
To light,
and that's what they did.
Expand for darkness because you have a better view, I guess. Yeah. So because your eyes are very light sensitive. I don't know, man. Like, I think that the characters in this movie are fucking great. So I think all the girls have their own personalities.
Why did the younger sister girl start going across that thing again?
Because she was trying to escape.
She's trying to get away.
She knew that was the only way.
Well, like if she knew someone else could cross it better.
She was scared to death, and that was just the only way that she saw out. Like she wasn't thinking clearly.
Yeah,
that part is if she would have just jumped down, she would have been fine.
Yeah,
but she didn't know. You know what I mean? That there was water down there.
I'd rather jump to my death than being eaten alive. So
I agree. Yeah.
The biggest question, like for me, so it's obvious that these creatures have never been discovered. Which is fair, I suppose, but like, is it just this cave system? Because, like, what would be so special about this cave system? Is it because it's so cut off? Because the Appalachians are huge, and fairly undiscovered. Like, not a lot of people really
Right.
delve very far into them and stuff.
Mhm.
So, like, I just wonder if it's
There are more of them.
yeah.
It kind of makes you wonder
There could be.
what they have evolved from to begin with. You know what I mean? Like,
Well, he
they're
answers
very
that.
humanoid.
He answers it in trivia
mean,
because
well,
I thought the same thing.
This is where I kind of got in the discussion about, so they come in to seeing cave drawings,
mhm.
right? So you would imagine that there were cave people in those
At some
caves.
point, yeah.
So wouldn't you suspect that caveman would evolve? And since they lived down there, they evolved
Mhm.
into those monsters.
That's a possibility too, yeah.
He's right.
Human
Is that
evolution,
what it is?
Mhm.
human evolution, or any kind of evolution is
They
based
just
off.
didn't evolve
Well,
past.
it's your evolution is based off your survivability. You're going
Right.
to evolve to something you can survive in.
Yeah.
Because I actually
So-
I wrote that down in my notes too. I said, "Are these humans?" Because they certainly look human, like human-esque anyway.
Right.
They
Like skinwalkers are supposed
Yeah, like
to.
did they evolve from humans at some point? Because
Right.
they
And-
certainly have all of the characteristics
to
of
survive.
humans, except for
Makes
certain
sense, yeah.
characteristics that would have evolved from living in the dark.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I didn't like about it is like they go to the surface to get food to feed. I'm like, then, well, that makes sense, but you would think that they would still be able to see. Like, I don't understand why they can't see.
Because they live in the cave system.
Yeah.
I get that they live in the cave systems, but
It's like bats. Bats live in the dark, so
okay.
they don't really use their
They were
use
a
their
lot
eyes,
like that, yeah.
Okay.
and that's what they liken them to.
Right.
That's why they don't really have much of a sense of smell. Like, I thought it was weird that they couldn't smell them, but when they likened them to bats, that sort of makes sense, because you don't really need to smell or see if you live in a cave system,
Mm-hmm.
but you do need to hear,
Right.
and you do need to have that sense of like sonar. That's what bats use.
I was surprised they couldn't hear him breathing or anything creepy like that.
Yeah, you would think that heightened sense of
You think they would have a better sense of hearing?
Yeah.
Because there are certain situations where I'm like, why don't they hear that?
right.
Mm-hmm.
But they
Like
do
the
have to,
whispering?
that would be too much. That would be too much, because then
Right.
they have absolutely no chance. There's going to be a little bit of that, plot, But technically, the girls were the bad guys.
Yeah,
I mean, they went into their house and started,
like walking
messing
into
up
a
the
lion's
furniture. You know what
den,
I'm
yeah.
saying? Like
Right, yeah.
they
Yeah.
rolled into their place.
I
And,
agree,
you know what I'm saying?
yeah.
So
Yeah, because technically, if you think about it, you roll up in a bear's cave, the bear's gonna get defensive and fuck you up.
mhm.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah,
Yeah,
And
they walked into their
they're just
house and then they
animals,
killed their child and their
Yeah,
wife.
Yeah.
that's true, too.
Yeah.
Sarah did
Yeah,
kill the kid.
she killed a youngling.
And the woman.
I
Yeah.
agree. Yeah, maybe
So-
they are just.
I love that woman.
So
had
fuck them all.
hair,
The
too.
good guys did win.
Yeah, technically.
To a point.
Did you guys ever see this is like the last thing that I had, but have you guys ever seen the maps showing missing people versus cave systems in the United States?
No.
Check this shit out.
Which one's the missing person?
So the top map is missing people, and the bottom map
Is
is
the
the
cave
largest cave systems.
Well, yeah, that makes sense. People go try and dive in caves all the damn time and end up going missing.
You see the overlap?
Yeah.
Isn't that nuts?
Maybe they actually exist. Top is the missing people, and then the ones at the bottom are the.
Feel free to look it up, because I can't really show you guys,
We
but
could, but we don't feel like getting out of our chairs.
yeah.
Well, they wouldn't really be able to see it too well.
Yeah,
on the
it
camera
kinda gets
regardless.
blurry when you
People
try-
that go missing.
Yeah, the
Overall.
missing people
They're
cases
missing
that have
people,
never
yeah.
been found,
Missing person cases.
and the
sad
bottom.
part is a lot of those are probably like people who like maybe they were spelunking, but a lot of them could also be. Well, I'm going to kill this person. I'm going to drop him in this cave because
Right.
nobody's going down.
I'm just
there.
saying it's very interesting to me. You see this, and it's almost a complete overlap, especially up here in the Appalachian Mountains.
Yeah.
It's very dense.
You guys, we should visit
Completely
there. It ain't
dense.
that far away.
Mm-hmm.
It's
You
it's
guys wanna
it's
No.
nuts
No.
to me. No, I've
No,
I've
I'm
heard
good.
enough from my grandmother. Thank you. I'm
The
very
wrong-
good.
Did you know you're not supposed
the
to
wrong
whistle at night 'cause of
turn,
skinwalkers?
you know.
You're also not supposed to say skinwalkers at night, and if you hear a sound outside and it sounds far away, like if your family's like inside and you know they're not outside and it sounds far away, it actually means it's close to you, and if it's close to you, the sound, that means it's actually far away from you.
I've heard a lot of these stories. Yes.
Mhm.
Yeah. I was told that once, and I was like, "What?"
Yeah, my grandma used to tell us stories all the time. Like, and my grandma didn't believe in any of that shit. So when she tells us these stories, it's like, how do you not believe in that shit? If that happened to you, she'd always well, the Bible said there'd be signs and wonders.
That's
Like
wonders
that.
though.
It's a book. That's a book.
That's more than a sight and a wonder. No, thank you.
Just like there's one thing, a dude walks out of his trailer and he's like heard like this kid or person laughing and screaming. He's like, yeah, I'm just not going to pretend I didn't hear that, and just walk back.
That TikTok guy, I love that guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shut up.
No, thank you.
No, they good.
All right. So did everybody pretty much cover what they wanted to
Yeah, I got it.
say?
Yeah.
Yep.
All right. Well, let's go ahead and rate this movie and see where everybody stands with it.
Let's go this bitch.
We'll start with Madison as usual.
I'm not gonna lie, I really like this movie. I thought it was a great movie. And I went upstairs afterwards. I told Ada that she should watch it because it's a movie I know Ada would like a lot too.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna go ahead and give it. I'm actually gonna give it a 9, you guys, because I did really like this movie.
Okay. For me, there's a lot of things I love about this movie. It's original. I love the claustrophobic shit of it that makes it a truly. That's probably the more terrifying part of the movie.
It is.
More so
Absolutely.
than the monsters.
I'll
Oh,
take the
definitely.
creatures all day long.
Yeah, like that. And they do a really good job of shooting. Like a lot of this is done on sets and shit too. So like they do a really good job of shooting that and making it look realistic.
And there wasn't a lot of sets.
Right.
They just reused them.
They reused a lot of them, yeah. So like, I think they did a really good job with that. But this director, man, I think he does a good job with.
Yeah.
Like I said, he did Dog Soldiers, one of the best fucking werewolf movies I've ever seen, and and he's I don't know what he's doing anymore, but I haven't seen anything from him for a while. But I'm agree with Madison. This is like a 9 movie for me. This is a 9er. This is a really, really good horror.
We got a 9er.
So.
Okay. So, yeah, for me, the horror in this movie is absolutely the claustrophobia. It has nothing to do with the creatures. And I was going to bring up the set thing too, because I think they only built like 20.
So I liked this movie so much whenever it came out on DVD and all that before Blu-rays. And I liked it so much that I watched a lot of the special features.
Yeah, I think it was like 20 or 21 sets that they made.
Yeah, and then like I liked watching a lot of the extras with the creatures, the guys in the suit and stuff like that.
Yeah.
And I remember watching this one part. Is like there wasn't a blooper reel, but he was like dancing in it, and it was really funny.
Yeah, but I think it was like 20 or 21 sets that they built, and that was it. And they just moved them around. And it constantly just looked like different
it's not
parts.
hard to do with a set like that, where everything like essentially almost looks the same. Like a lot of the rocks, because cave systems look.
I know. At one point, I think I saw one of the rocks move. You guys.
I did too. Whenever they were crawling through one of the holes.
Whenever she got stuck.
She kind of kicked it a little bit and it moved. Yeah.
Whenever she got stuck, I saw it move up a little bit. I'm like.
Yeah, that was the one things that I was going to bring up, is that every now and again there would be these things that you'd notice, like
little small things.
When they did that large pan where you could see all of the girls in the cave system, you could tell that there was a CGI.
Yeah,
you could tell that was a bad.
Same as the ending too,
or a green screen.
Yeah,
whatever.
Like you could see they were like here, but it was all like the
background was terrible.
They like photoshopped kind of like all that together.
Whatever it was terrible. That was the worst shot in the whole movie.
It wasn't a great shot. I agree.
I didn't know. This is the first time I ever noticed it. But I noticed that, and like you said, I noticed a couple of times where I seen like rocks move. But I can really forgive all of that because, like you said, original. It puts you on the edge of your seat. There's, when you talk about horror movies and you look at slashers and you look at haunted house, or you look at any of the other genres that there are out there, you can watch those and go straight to bed. A movie like this, though, like if it makes you squirm
if it sticks with you.
Yeah, if it sticks with you, like if
It's
you
gonna be
know,
in your nightmares.
like that's a good horror movie. So I'm with you guys. It's a 9 for me too. If it can make you squirm, that's a good horror movie. So, yep.
All right, so for me,
Eric's like 2.
It scared me.
no, I'm not going to, give it a bad rating just because I don't like the claustrophobicness of it. I'm not going to give it a bad rating at all because honestly, there's not really anything you can really pick on this movie to say, oh, this is bad because of this. Yeah, there might have been the CGI, like you guys said, but I did not really see it. And in my mind, I didn't
Were
see
your
any
glasses
CGI.
on?
Yeah. In my mind, I didn't see any CGI really in it at all.
It's not really CGI. It was just
It looked like it was just a bad
it was a
background.
bad
whatever,
shot.
I get it.
Yeah,
so
whatever
like,
it
they had
was.
different, like they had filmed you back here, film her here, and then we're gonna splice it all together.
Yeah.
In the splicing part of it,
I
just
couldn't
didn't
tell
work
what
out.
it was. It was either
Yeah.
like a green screen or some kind of
I think
bad
it was all just
CGI.
a bunch of
You
sliced,
might be right about
like,
that. Whatever it
images
was,
together.
it was bad.
Yeah.
Yeah, and see, I didn't really see it.
And they did the same thing at the ending with her whenever they panned out from her, where you saw that she was still trapped in the cave at the very end.
Oh yeah,
And they
yeah,
pan
yeah.
out
That
from
was
her,
bad
and
too.
they have
yeah,
like
yeah.
that area of her, and then all this like around her. and
Yeah.
it just didn't look.
It looked like somebody drew it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't even see that part.
Yeah.
I, once the credits came off, I turned it off. So
But you got to think back whenever this came out, Blu-rays were
Yeah, no. That's
there was
what
no
I say.
high definition.
To me, it's more
Yeah.
about how did the movie make you feel, because that's what
Yeah.
horror movies are.
Yeah. So that's where it's at, where I'm sitting here saying, I'm not going to say it's a bad movie because it scared the shit out of me with the claustrophobia. Yeah, the tight
You're
spaces
sitting
in
there
the
like,
cave.
scared me.
Yeah, the tight spaces in the caves. Yeah, fuck that shit. That's something
Not
I
to
cannot.
mention the look of the monsters.
Yeah,
man.
I
They
can't.
did a really good job.
I can't do that. But the monsters, that didn't really scare me too much. I mean, the thought process of
Some of them jump scares.
Being
though.
stuck down there with
might
well,
have
the
been
thought
cool.
process of how they evolved
or that they're going to
into
eat
that,
you alive.
like how they evolved. Like you don't know. Maybe there are things that have evolved that we have not found,
That's true,
even including
yeah.
humans.
Oh, cryptids!
Especially
Yeah,
in the
cryptids are a
Appalachian
big thing. When when
Mountains,
people
like-
talk about like Bigfoot and stuff, how can you say he doesn't exist? How do you know?
You've never
Yeah.
seen them, yeah.
Just
Exactly.
like aliens, how can you say they don't exist?
Yeah, I
They
think
do.
You're stupid to think that we're
Exactly.
alone in the universe.
Aliens just definitely exist.
They
I'm not even going to be like, oh, I'm a skeptic. No, they exist.
no.
You're stupid to believe
The
that as big as
government
this
even
universe is that
Exactly,
we're alone in
that
it.
We're alone in it.
Yeah, that the government obviously already said that they exist.
Yeah,
so.
Yeah,
and we
there's
all
no
collectively
way.
went, yeah, our bills are too high to give a shit right
We
right
don't
now.
care. But
Can you pay my gas bill? No, then I don't give a fuck about
Yeah,
your
can that
aliens.
alien pay my gas bill? Nope, no, I don't give a fuck.
Oh, I know what somebody said. They're like, as long as if they come down here, as long as they got to pay taxes too.
yeah,
They
they
gotta-
can
They gotta
contribute.
pay their
Cool.
way too. But the movie aspect, like I said, that I didn't see any CGI or anything like that, so I can't knock it for any of that shit. So I'm going to come in with probably about an 8.59. So I'm going to say 8.5 because it's not my type.
8.59.
No, 8.5. I said 8.5 to 9.
I thought you were.
So I'm going with 8.5.
You guys, it's okay.
So I'm saying 8.5 because it's not my type of movie. I mean, it's just the claustrophobicness is for me. Just I can't do that. I can't watch it. I'm not going to watch it again because of that.
But that's what made it effective.
Yes, it made it effective.
Makes sense.
So yeah, 8.5 for me.
So that's an 8.9.
Yeah.
That's a pretty good score. That might be
Exactly.
one of the highest we had.
Yeah.
Actually, it might be the highest we have.
I don't know. I'd have to go
we
through
rated
them.
the Goonies pretty high.
I mean, I enjoyed the goriness in the movie. It was like where it needed to be and everything,
Yeah, it wasn't overly. Yeah,
The
overdone or
bloodbath.
anything. Yeah, that was like that's gross.
Yeah. That's not just human
She definitely
blood.
walked out of there
That's-
with some. With
That's
some diseases.
animal blood. I mean,
Yeah.
yeah, hell, she
AIDS,
fucking puked
pink
it.
eye.
At the end of the movie, she puked up the same shit that the monsters puked up.
Ugh.
Yum.
I
Yeah,
think-
because didn't it say like she was reading off warnings at the beginning? No, it wasn't about that mountain though, was it? It was about the other one that they were supposed to go through, but they didn't. She was
Yeah, I
reading-
can't remember what she called
She
it.
was like claustrophobia. She said like
paranoia.
phlegm something. I don't know. Yeah, paranoia.
Hallucinations, all kinds of
Yeah.
shit.
Yeah.
Panic attacks.
Well, hell yeah.
That
you-
girl was having one in the
I would have
cave
had a
now.
panic attack as soon as I got down there and they said, "Oh yeah, we gotta go down this small hole." No,
I'm like,
You guys go for it. I'm going back up.
Giving me the heavy
All right.
jibbies.
What do you guys think on scores? Let's go critics first.
Critics, I'm going to say
75.
probably 87.
92.
Eric's going to take this as an 87.
Whoa.
Are you fucking
On the
kidding?
nose. Yeah. 87% certified fresh. Deft direction and strong performances from its all-female cast guide the descent, a riveting, claustrophobic horror film. Yeah, that's about right. All right,
93.
audience.
No, but how
93.
many people rated it bad because they didn't like the claustrophobia?
Not very many people do that, honestly.
Most people are going to think about it like me and Joseph
Yeah.
and everybody does, is that it's a good thing because most of us that are horror nerds are going to be like, nothing
said
scares
93?
me.
Did you say
And then
93? I was going to say 92.
I said 93.
Okay, you guys are in the 90s. I'm going to take a step back. I'm going to say 80.
80. Eric's going to take this too. It's 76%.
Fuck them.
Yeah. Actually, the audience liked it less for some reason.
They're
which is
retarded.
weird. They are retarded. I'm going to agree with that.
Fuck you guys.
To think I was about to take mine back and point you below.
Let's see here. Juno.
Good. You're wrong, though.
You're wrong, no. All right, let's give you. I'm going to try to find some. Well, I'm sure there's a few negatives in here. For people, it's too claustrophobic for me. Yeah. I don't know if they made that noise now, but. Yeah. Now these people write paragraphs. They trying to read all that shit. All right, here's a 1-star. Pretty dumb from the concept of a large mammalian living underground as a sustainable colony without huge tracts of land to the terribly decreased in post lighting. Seriously, are these 1W?
It was a cave.
Oh, 1 Walt incandescent bulbs, guys. The movie just doesn't have anything going for it to actually help my suspension of belief. As above, so below is sustainably better with a similar concept of traveling unsafe subterranean locales.
I disagree.
I disagree. I didn't think as above, so below was very good.
There's no claustrophobia. They're literally
No,
walking around
yeah.
in like a.
It wasn't
Yeah.
nearly as fearful. I disagree. Like as above, so below was okay, but it just wasn't. It didn't hit me like that. You know what I mean? Here's a 0.5-star. Found the movie boring. Nothing scary nor gruesome in the movie. The ending was predictable.
No
I was-
gruesomeness, huh?
Yeah, I was waiting for her to
Weird.
strike her friend and leave her. Don't see why or how this film is on the most scariest list of horror movies. Okay. Well, you're a moron.
So, obviously, they don't understand what
So
claustrophobicness
some of these
is.
people, well, you got to think that
Not
this-
everybody is claustrophobic.
So the thing about
Well,
these
I'm saying
reviews,
is-
I didn't
under-
really get the
understand what the-
claustrophobic feel. It was just like,
I did a little bit.
That's
with
'cause
it,
you're crazy.
especially the part where the girl got stuck. And
Oh,
stuff.
man.
Oh,
So
Ew.
I think that
that
some
was
of
the
these-
part. Like I was like this.
Yeah, some of these reviews are going to be like kind of biased because of people have taken this movie and they've copied some of the things from this movie, like the
Mhm.
creatures, the claustrophobia. They've done it, so people are going to be like, "Well, this isn't that scary because it's been done." It's like, yeah, well, the
But look
first
at the-
slasher
Done
movie was
first.
amazing because it hadn't been done yet.
Yeah.
So you have to look at it from that point of view too.
Correct.
2 stars, utter pants, overly suspenseful moments littered with obvious jump scares. 1 star, overrated, not scary at all. Everything is so predictable and fake. The end is the worst part, and Juno is an evil character.
evil.
I
But-
wouldn't say she's evil. She's just selfish.
Yeah, I
Sometimes,
wouldn't say she's evil.
like, even with the worst, like, predictable jump scares, they can be
evil.
like, the most scariest.
All right, here's a 0.5 star. There's nothing even marginally, I think that meant marginally, entertaining until about 1 hour into the movie. The acting is unbelievable and frankly bad. The actors don't seem to convince me that they're actually scared. I recommend this movie if you're looking to waste your time. This movie might have been okay, just okay 30 years ago, but now it just doesn't stand up to what's out there. but bad, just bad. 30 years ago. The fuck? People are dumb. Like, what do you mean, dude? Like, okay, so the acting was great. They did a great job of telling us how fucking scared they
Right.
were. And some people are idiots.
What about the cover art for this movie? Like, how cool was that?
It was really awesome, actually.
I didn't even see it.
It's a skull, but it's the girls.
I'll find one more.
It's like a silhouette of the girls. Look it up.
All right, last one. Half star. 6 shallow written soccer moms cast in.
What? Soccer moms?
This
Did
is
you
gonna be
pay
good.
attention to
It's
the...
gonna be good. Hold on, I want to finish this. This looks good. 6 shallow written soccer moms cast implausibly as buffed pro-level adventurers enter a mysterious cave complex, ignore every known safety protocol, and promptly get lost like stupid amateurs. They're beset by ferocious cave dwellers capable of barehandedly killing 1,000-pound bull elk, with many of whom end up slaughtered in various gory ways by our surviving hero.
Man, you are one pathetic loser.
That is cool.
That's pretty good. Yeah.
Yeah.
Never
You
seen it.
can't see it.
I can
But
see it.
I disagree with a lot of people. It's so stupid. People are dumb.
Soccer moms, huh?
we got
on Yeah, this ship soccer.
anyhow?
There was one that had a kid.
Right? Yeah, there was one that had a kid. The rest were like,
And one that was married.
yeah, she was the same woman. I don't know. I just
They're all
whatever.
soccer moms,
You guys
apparently.
are morons. Like,
They're all soccer moms, apparently.
I think this is why I don't think everybody should be able to be on the internet.
There's a lot more reasons than that.
There's a lot more reasons than that.
You have to have a license to fish.
Yeah.
You should have a license to think on the internet.
Right. All right, Karen.
Take a test. Yeah.
You got trivia, man.
I got trivia.
Sweet ass trivia with Karen.
The filmmakers considered it too dangerous to film in an actual cave. You don't say?
Oh shit.
It also would have been far too time consuming, so they opted to build one instead. 21 separate cave sets were built for the film. These were carefully reused with different camera angles, set dressing, and lighting to suggest a nearly endless collection of interconnected tunnels and caverns. For realism, the makers often limited the lighting of the sets to light sources that the protagonists brought with them, such as flashlights, helmet lights, and light sticks. According to the audio commentary on the special edition DVD, there was an exact replica made of Nora Jane Nolan after the movie was finished. She got to keep the head of the doll.
Which one is that?
That's Holly.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
Once she put it in her mother's freezer as a joke.
That girl looked familiar. I've seen her in other stuff before.
So,
Yeah. The appearance of the creatures was kept secret from the cast members until the first scene in which they encounter them was filmed. When the cast were finally filming that scene where the group encounter the crawlers, the actors were genuinely scared and screamed, running off set and laughing. The sequence where the women see the crawler for the first time was via the night vision camera. They had the lights off and brought the performer in and then revealed him as the visibility returned. Neil Marshall described the crawlers as cavemen who have stayed underground. The director explained they've evolved in this environment over thousands of years. They've adapted perfectly to thrive in the cave. They've lost their eyesight, they have acute hearing and smell, and function perfectly in the pitch black. They're expert climbers, so they can go up any rock face, and that is their world. The filmmakers kept the crawler design hidden from the actresses until they were revealed in the scenes in which the characters encountered the creatures to allow for natural tension. They also kept the actors among the female rock climbing crew and the actors who played the cave dwellers separate from each other through the shoot, including at lunch, to heighten their ability to play animosity against the other cast.
You know what's funny about that is, like, could you imagine being like that actor that came in and was like, hold on. That actor those actors get like, all right, well, we're getting hired to do this job. Like, oh, what do the creatures look like? Like, I don't know. Like, could you imagine being like, well, if they look fucking retarded, this movie could flop.
Well, and
You know what I mean?
the cool thing was that he actually hired actors to play the
you were
crawlers,
talking about the
Right,
chick,
yeah.
right?
not just people in suits. Like, these were people that actually brought characters to the crawlers.
You were talking about the Nora chick?
Who?
Creature
The girl
actors.
who played as Holly?
No, like
The-
people who were actors. Like, they actually brought like characters
Girl
to
with the
their
real short
crawlers.
hair.
Yeah.
Like, they had backstories and stuff for their crawlers. Even if they didn't use it, it was like their way of making them individual.
Hmm.
Behind the scenes or whatever.
I don't know if I remember. She apparently was in Doomsday. I don't remember her.
Yeah. She was fuck.
Which one was she in Doomsday?
Wasn't she the main one?
No,
No.
she wasn't.
Let me see.
She looked, or was she the one that got beheaded in Doomsday too?
No,
No?
that wasn't her. Either.
Who was she?
Who are we talking about?
Holly.
The girl who played Holly.
Girl with the real short hair.
The really short hair.
She wasn't the main actress, the bad actress in Doomsday?
No, I know what you're talking about. It's not her.
I don't know. I'll find out.
Eric will look it up.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't remember her. Maybe I saw her in Doomsday. I just
What's
don't remember
her actress name?
Hold on.
Nora something or another.
Nora Jane, Noone. Noon.
Nora Jane.
Nora Jane.
Can
Here.
you say who she played as?
I don't even see her on here.
Let me see.
She probably played some small role. I know the other girl who played the younger sister, the doctor, is also in Doomsday.
Yeah. Yeah, because didn't she play like the mom?
I think so, something like that. So no, she was the girl that she was sent in to save or whatever in Doomsday.
Oh, was she?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure. Yeah,
blonde girl in Doomsday.
her name was Callie.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, she had to protect her.
Yeah, you're right.
So Nora Jane
No.
Nuon.
That's what character she played.
Yeah. Oh, she was
She was
one of
the
the
soldier.
one of the soldiers.
Yep.
Yeah, I
She
remember
looks
now.
completely different.
Yeah, she looks weird with long hair. After
Blonde
seeing her in
hair.
this movie.
Blonde hair
Yeah.
too. Director Neil Marshall initially wanted to pass on the project, having just done another horror movie with dog soldiers. He later reconsidered since both movies were nothing alike, and he decided to cast an all-female group of protagonists in contrast to the normally male-dominated horror genre. He consulted with his female friends to avoid cliches and define their personalities, and chose actresses with a wide array of accents to give the film a more cosmopolitan feel. Claustrophobia is a big aspect of the film's fear, but Neil Marshall had no clue how many people were affected by it until he started showing the film to audiences. You don't say. The neon light sticks seen in the film were purchased from an adult toy shop. I've never. Why are there adult?
Right.
Why are light sticks in an adult toy shop?
I mean,
don't-
Why are you in there
either
for
way,
light
like,
sticks?
why couldn't you just go buy them from like a local party store or something?
That's what I'm like. Why?
Why does it have to
Well,
be
yeah,
an
why
adult
would they-
toy store?
Why would they be in there in the first place looking for glow sticks?
I don't
Well,
know,
I'm not worried
that's
about
weird.
why they're in there. I'm just like why.
Why would you go there for them? Yeah.
Why
probably go
are
get them
they
at
in there?
Walmart.
I don't.
Maybe they
understand.
were already in there for other things, and they just happened upon them.
Maybe.
That's what the spit was. They went in there for the spit because lube.
Oh man, that's disgusting.
Yeah, that's probably true.
Could be.
Because they use lube a lot for spit, like in
To give
Alien.
you that
That's what they use
saliva look.
Yeah.
to get because it has that look.
Yeah.
So that's probably what happened. The crawlers were designed by Paul Hyatt, a makeup and
Chumped, crumpled up apple pie into the lube to make it look like the vomit.
The crawlers were designed by Paul Hyatt, a makeup and prosthetics creator. Production designer Simon Bowles said that the
Bowles.
It says it's Bowles. So I'm not sure if it's
Bowles.
Bowles or
Probably
B
Bowles.
Bowl. Anyway, said that the
Buy a
crawler
big
design.
bowl.
Yeah, bowl. Hey,
Said-
my boy, that's what he said. Yeah, he said, I got 2 bowls. He'd be holding up bowls.
So said the crawler design had started out as a wide-eyed and more creature-like, but the design shifted toward a more human appearance. Crawlers originally had pure white skin, but the look was adjusted to seem grubbier. The skin was originally phosphorescent in appearance, but the effect was too bright and reflective in the darkened set. So the adjustment was made for them to blend in shadows. The director barred the film's cast from seeing the actors in full crawler makeup until their first appearance on screen. Actress Natalie Mendoza said of the effect, "When the moment came, I nearly wet my pants. I was running around afterwards, laughing in this hysterical way and trying to hide the fact that I was pretty freaked out. Even after that scene, we never really felt comfortable with them." The crawlers reappear in The Descent Part 2, a sequel by John Harris, with the first film's director Neil Marshall as an executive producer. For the sequel, Hyatt improved the camouflaging ability of the crawler's skin tones to deliver better scares. According to Hyatt, John wanted them more viciously feral, inbred, scarred, and deformed, with rows of shark-like teeth for ripping flesh. House was designed for the crawlers as well as a set that the crew called the Crawler Crapper. I barely remember the second one, so I'm not sure what.
Yeah, I don't really.
I just remember not hating it.
I remember not hating it, but I also remember being like, it's not as good as the first.
Yeah, I mean, I've only seen it once for a reason.
Yeah,
I just remember
I think
not
I've only
hating
seen it once.
Yeah. The American edit of the film ends with Sarah escaping from the cave and driving away, finally seeing Juno, most likely a hallucination, sitting in the car next to her. The UK version, however, has a much bleaker ending, continuing with a short scene where Sarah wakes up at the bottom of the cave. The escape was only a dream, and she is hopelessly stuck inside the cave with the creatures closing in around her. This finale was described as uber hopelessness by the American screening audiences and therefore omitted. The sequel, The Descent Part 2, starts with Sarah having just escaped from the cave and is thus a follow-up to the American version of the film. Director Neil Marshall didn't have one specific ending in mind during filming, so he agreed to make an American version where Sarah escapes from the cave. This was considered by many to be the happy ending. In contrast...
that's okay, though, that he's, like, open to the idea of a different ending. He's like, yeah, I don't really have an idea of an ending, so this is what I went with. But if you guys want to change it, that's fine. Because...
Well, you'll find out why here. He says, in contrast, the unhappy UK version where Sarah doesn't escape, but Marshall likened it to the finale of the Texas Chainsaw Massacre in 1974, stating that just because someone got away, does that make it a happy ending?
It's true, yeah.
In an interview with Vulture in 2021, director Neil Marshall revealed that during production, an executive from the French distributor Path suggested a scene where the girls would strip naked and jump into a pool in the cave. In response, Marshall said, "If that's the movie you're making, I'm quitting now."
I agree.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
That's why I put it in here. It just shows you the kind of guy he is, like the kind of director, and the direction he wanted to go with the movie.
Yeah, that's completely unnecessary.
His point was trying to make them strong characters. He wanted them to be strong females.
He didn't want to sexualize them.
Yeah, he didn't want this to be a sexual movie in any way. Like, he wanted them to be strong characters.
I agree. Yeah, that's ridiculous.
That's kind of one of the reasons that I really hate that soccer mom thing. He went out of his way to show that they weren't.
They were tough women.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. At around 1 hour and 2 minutes, among the bones that Sarah falls into is a wolf's head, which came from one of the werewolves from director Neil Marshall's previous film, Dog Soldiers. A possible and less gruesome shout-out to Neil Marshall's previous film, Dog Soldiers, occurs when Sam has to push Holly's splintered bone back into her leg. In Dog Soldiers, Cooper has to push Wells' intestines back into him, another very subtle Dog Soldiers reference, doubling as a mythology gag. When Sarah discovers an old helmet in the cave, a closer look reveals the name Oswald written on the brim. This is in reference to Eddie Oswald, the character mentioned by Wells in Dog Soldiers. Neil Marshall has mentioned that he plans to reference Eddie Oswald in all of his films. And that is it.
It's pretty cool, though. What has he done lately? Like,
I really don't know.
I'm going to look him up on IMDb real quick, because, like, to go from all those good movies to, like, just disappear, it's Neil Marshall.
Maybe he's working on an idea, like, really big.
See all. His most recent one is The Lair from 2022. I've never heard of it.
Never heard of it.
It's got a 4.5. I don't know if that's out of 10 or what. No, that's out of 10. He did The Reckoning in 2020. Lost in Space. I think that's a series, yeah. Which is actually a good series. Timeless.
I should make you guys guess.
Is it The Descent Part 2?
It's we could go back doing the charades.
This is the Ninja Turtles. I've been waiting for that one.
You're gonna make us guess, and
no, I said I should make you guess, but
it'd be like old times.
Is it a sequel?
No.
Does it have sequels?
No.
Is it a horror?
No.
Comedy? Is it a comedy?
Yes.
Is it Zach and Miri?
No.
Is it? Does it have Will Ferrell in it?
No.
Kevin Hart? No.
Is it a raunchy comedy?
No.
Is it a wholesome comedy?
Honestly, I haven't seen it in a really long time, but I'm pretty sure it is. It might have some raunchiness in it.
Give us an actor that's in it.
Arnold Schwarzenegger.
No, it's
as a
twins.
Comedy. It's Arnold comedy.
I don't know.
Is it Last Action Hero?
That's what I was kind of thinking.
Last Action Hero.
That's a good one, though.
Yes, it is.
That one got a lot of, like...
Negative
reviews back when it came out. But that movie's it's a good movie. It's a really good movie.
So it's only on rent right now.
Of course it is.
I think I have it.
I don't have it.
You can rent it on Amazon, Apple
I really
TV,
ought to like know what we own, but I really don't.
DirecTV.
I wouldn't either if they were all thrown in the basement like that.
No, he's doing. He has like
Really?
both of the shelvings full now, but now we have to buy another one because it's not enough.
Oh.
You know, if
What's
we
he
would
gonna
have
do
done
all
this,
that Warhammer stuff now.
if we would have done this
You gotta put that
like
stuff
Fuck, I
somewhere.
don't know.
we could have done this maybe like
Are
6
you
months
talking
ago.
about
It was
in
on
your home?
Netflix.
Sorry.
If we would have done it when?
6 months ago, it was on Netflix.
Sorry, the book or the box. The box tells me.
I
what
mean,
the-
you can always rent it, or you
The
can,
box tells me what to
Yeah, I'll probably.
or you can buy it.
I'm not buying it. I like the movie.
All
but
right,
it's not
people.
worth
Next
buying.
week, Last Action Hero will be the first movie of the year.
Yeah.
Right. Right. What is
Mm,
today?
26th, Dad.
Yeah,
7
it'll be the
days from
second,
now.
right?
Yeah, it'd be the second. No, it'd be the second.
That's Gavin's
We go back to
birthday.
work on the second, don't we? Yeah.
Well, there you go. First movie of the year, Last Action Hero. First but last action hero.
Yeah, it was the only one.
When you guys asked if it was a sequel, I was like, not to us, but I think it is in the movies universe.
In the movie universe, yeah, it is. But those movies aren't called Last Action Hero. Those movies are called Jack Slater. Is that
The
his
Ripper.
name?
Yeah,
Yeah, but I don't
Slater.
think they're called Jack
There's
Slater
something
though.
else.
They're
Yeah,
called.
the movies are called something else in the movie.
Yeah,
I can't remember.
it's been so long since I've seen it. The only thing
Yeah.
I remember is like the dude had a fake eye, and
Rubber Bubble Baby Bump.
Yeah.
Something like that.
and there
Didn't
was
know
the
I was
tar,
going to say that, did you?
the tar pits.
The Tar Pits.
Something about the tar pits and
Yeah.
the bad guy's name. Fuck, I knew his name at one point. Yeah, he had a weird name.
Yeah, it had a weird name.
Mhm.
It's a really good movie, though. So if you haven't seen Last Action Hero, you should watch it. Even if not for us, but just for your own enjoyment. Because it is a very entertaining movie, especially if you're into, for one, old Arnold movies.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure it flopped, but it ended up like everybody
It did,
loved
and I
it.
guess Arnold Schwarzenegger was really upset at how it had flopped.
Yeah.
And
It's one of his favorites, I know that.
Yeah, it's one of his favorites, and he was really upset about how it flopped because he just thought it was a really good, entertaining movie, and it is. I don't
It is.
understand because I remember whenever it came out, and I was like, "This movie's amazing."
It's such a good fantasy movie for kids, you know?
Yeah,
Like
even got a
it's every
cartoon
kid's
character
fantasy.
in it.
Every
Yeah.
kid would love.
Voiced
like,
by Danny DeVito.
Yeah, no shit.
Yeah.
As they should.
So it's a really entertaining movie, and hell, even Robert Patrick makes an appearance as
Oh yeah.
he comes
he's
out
a
of
cop,
the,
isn't he?
he's a cop. Yeah.
Yeah.
He comes walking out like the T-1000.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it's funny.
Yep.
Anyway,
Lots of good Easter eggs in that movie.
Yeah.
a lot of
there is.
Easter eggs in that movie from like old, like this. I might be one of the first movies to really do Easter eggs,
It might be. You might be right
like
about
to
that.
do a lot like that. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, I mean they put little subtle things in other movies, but like think of like Ready Player One. This was that movie before Ready Player One. Like
Correct.
how Ready Player One put all these different Easter eggs in one giant movie. That was what this movie had done. So, like,
Yep.
and the kid
true.
and the kid is like the kid in the movie, the main character is your eyes. Like the kid being you in the movie.
Danny?
Danny, I think his name is,
Danny.
yeah. And he's the person that you would be in the movie. Like, oh my god, all these references that I'm seeing, and
Yeah.
it's a very meta movie. I
Yeah,
guess.
he's like, no, you play that guy in that movie, and he's like, what are you talking about? He's great.
what are you talking about? He was great.
He's a great action
He's a great
star.
action star.
Oh, he's talking about Sylvester Stallone.
Yeah, and Terminator.
Terminator 2,
Yeah.
yeah.
He's a great action star.
Yeah. All right. Well, next week, people, don't forget to check out our social stuff and be here next week for Last Action Hero. And don't forget to like, share, subscribe, and all that good stuff. X, Instagram, and all that other crap. Till next week.
Bye.
Bye.
Goodbye.